everyone, and welcome to Film Geek Time Machine. I'm your host, Austin Kennedy, and sitting next to me is my co-host, Tim Kaiser. Say hello.
Hi, I'm Tim Kaiser. I'm the co-host of this podcast. And going by this first episode, yay?
Yay!
It's so much fun.
So this being the very first episode, well, what the hell is Film Geek Time Machine? Well, the concept of the podcast is, I have a time machine. I accidentally stumbled upon it. I can pretty much do anything I want with this time machine.
That's the only reason I'm your friend. You have a time machine. Okay?
So, being a major film geek, like, what happens when a film geek has a time machine? Well, the best thing I can think of to do is to go back in time to various different dates in the past and go see movies in the theater that I either want to revisit or some that I haven't seen in the theater or just movies that I've never seen. So what Tim and I will be doing is picking random dates mostly for most of the episodes and then looking at the newspaper from those dates. And since I'm from Minneapolis originally, but
I'm from Wisconsin.
You're
It's
right.
like a half an hour from me. Okay.
And, well, since we're from Minnesota, that's where we're going to be going back in time too. We're going to look at the papers from those locations from Minneapolis, the Star and Tribune paper, thanks to newspapers.com. And usually we're going to look at the paper and then we'll pick a couple of movies each and then we'll schedule it out to see what, like, actually go, okay, we're going to see them at noon, then 2, then 3 or 4, 5 or whatever. And but since it's my birthday for the first episode, I wanted my first time travel experience to be kind of special. So I picked July 18th, 1976, which was the year I was born.
The actual day you were born.
The actual day I was born.
What
and
day of the week was it?
It's Sunday. Yeah.
Oh, that's like a weekend day.
Yeah. And
it was like a Thursday.
Right. And most of the time we're going to be, each picking movies. But since it was my birthday, I picked all 7 of the films. And yes, I worked it out, so we'll be seeing all 7 of the films because that's a lot of movies. But it just worked out that way because there's a drive-in triple feature. That's why there's so many. But I also wanted to pick films that I've never seen before. But some episodes we'll revisit some movies that we want to talk about again. But this one, I'm like, I haven't seen any of these, so I want to check them out. And I'll maybe go a little bit over why I picked some of them. But before we go back in time, I want to formally introduce Tim. So hello. Now, originally, when I was going to do the podcast, I was planning on having different guests each week, which I've done before in past podcasts I've done. And so here's a little behind the scenes. So I started asking friends, like, hey, do you want to be a guest? Do you want to be a guest? And Tim, you did a podcast with me 5 years ago when I was doing the 73 podcast. I really enjoyed having you on. And I'm like, oh, I got to have Tim back on. So what did you think when I said I found a time machine and we're going to go back in time?
First I said, I'm glad you're my friend because now I can time travel. Okay. Also, just to be clear, you are much more the film geek than I am.
Yeah.
I like movies. I actually like old movies a lot. I like new movies. I do like movies a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be nearly as knowledgeable as Austin here about certain things. He's going to blah, blah, and talk about movie directors. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch this movie. And then if I hate it, you are all going to find out about how much I hated it. Specifically, the day Austin was born, lots of bad movies.
Well, when we got together, so we actually record some of these podcasts were recording out of sequence. So I was like, well, Tim, why don't you come over and record your episode, which I wasn't going to air first, your first episode. And then, but then after we recorded, I had so much fun. I'm like, you just want to be the co-host? And he's like,
yes, very much.
So welcome, Tim.
That's me. I'm the permanent co-host until I die.
Yeah. So the second episode is actually going to be Tim's birthday, which we actually already recorded.
Yes.
But it
August
will be
22nd, 1968.
Yes,
I'm older than him.
Yes, you are. Anyways, now so July 18th, 1976. So a little bit about July, where we're going back in time. We already did go back in time. We were just talking about the movies. But so here's some of we'll look at the charts of what was like the popular music, just so you can get an idea. And some of these I've never heard of. Like the number one song is "Kiss and Say Goodbye" by the Manhattans.
I honestly don't. I feel like if I heard it, I would go like, "Oh, I've heard the song."
We were listening to it when you.
Okay, so then I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Now, number 2 is "Afternoon Delight," which everybody in the universe knows.
Starland Vocal Band.
And more. Everybody knows that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are some stuff. There are literal classics.
"Let Her In" by John Travolta.
Yay! and you also made me listen to that about 12 times.
I was looking. Number 7 is "The Beatles Got to Get You Into Your Life," so they must have reissued that because that was from 1966. That was not from 1976.
That is odd.
That is really weird. The ones that I recognize
That's
the
really
most
odd.
are there's Silly Love Songs by
Oh, the voice
Wings.
back and Tell My Thin Lizzy. Now that's one
And
I've heard every day of my life for
Take
20
the Money
years.
and Run and Steve Miller Band.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got some
Rock
Neil
and Roll
Diamond.
Music by the Beach Boys is also at 13. What happened? What's going on here?
Keith Carradine, I'm Easy, which was from the 1975 movie Nashville.
Oh my God!
I think he won. I think it won Best Song.
Really?
For Academy
Okay.
Award. Yeah. Oh, Parliament, Tear the Roof Off the
Paul
Sucker.
McCartney. He's got, just because he's on the Beatles, now he has
Wings
2 in the top 40.
He does. Anyways, well, that's kind of the vibe that we're getting when we went back in time. So that's the music era. And then we'll look at the newspaper here. So this, before I tell you what we picked, I'm going to tell you what we didn't
chose
pick.
all these. I didn't even look at this.
Yeah,
because you chose everything.
So we're looking at newspaper.com right now. We're looking at July 18th, 1976, and so we have Robert Altman's Buffalo Bill and the Indians with Paul Newman, which it's one of the lesser Altman films, but I'm a big Altman fan, so I didn't pick it. Taxi Driver is still in the theater.
Wow.
The Omen was an exclusive. This must have just came out at the Skyway.
So far, all these are movies I wish you had picked.
The Outlaw Josie Wales. The porn Alice in Wonderland, the musical porn.
The Mysterious Monsters? Proof there are monsters.
Yeah, it started Wednesday, so it wasn't out yet, or else I might have picked it.
Oh, okay. It starts Wednesday.
Mahogany and Lady Sings the Blues. What else we got? This is one I wish that I did pick. The Man Who Fell to Earth, David Bowie, which I've never seen.
I have never seen.
Yeah.
Wait, I hate you so much.
I almost picked this one as the Bingo Long Traveling All-Stars and Motor Kings with Billy D. Williams, James Earl Jones, and Richard Pryor. And then Silent Movie, which is actually one of my favorite Mel Brooks movies. We didn't. So we didn't.
God, the movies you fucking chose.
Midway.
These movies are all making me. I'm so much madder now that I've seen all the possibilities.
All the President's Men.
Yeah,
Logan's Run.
Logan's Run. All these are movies.
Except, Gus and Bambi.
No, I literally would have enjoyed Gus more.
No. Gus is pretty bad. Okay, so what I did pick was firstly, it was at noon. We had.
You had the showtime.
I did have the show. Oh, I have them right here. Yeah. So what it is, at the Eden Prairie UA Theater at 12:05 was the Great Scout and Cat House Thursday. And I picked it because one, I like Westerns. Two, I really like Lee Marvin. And I watched the trailer and it looked fucking bonkers.
Here's
so I'm
the
like,
thing.
I want to watch it.
I didn't watch. I'm never going to watch the trailers for the movie.
Right.
I guarantee watching the trailer, but also me like, oh, this actually was pretty fun.
Yeah. So anyways, I saw that and I was like, okay, I actually, that's a curiosity. I want to see it. And it's not really talked about, so I want to see it. Murdered by Death is a kind of a cult classic now that I've always wanted to see. It's a satire. That was at 2:00 at the same theater, Eden Prairie.
I had heard of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually know anything about it other than the fact that it was kind of Clue before Clue.
Well, then we got Tunnel Vision at 4:30 at the Downtown Academy. And now this one, I'm a big fan of Kentucky Fried Movie, and I heard it was kind of like the same kind of thing. So that's why I picked it, because I'm like, oh, let's watch something wacky and offensive. So then Vigilante Force, which, again, I watched the trailer for this, is at 7 o'clock at Village 4, which is a movie theater that I went to all the time as a kid in Coon Rapids, growing up there, Minnesota. Vigilante Force, the trailer looked bonkers. I'm like, what? I can't believe this is even a movie. I got to watch it. And then the last three aren't really movies I really wanted to see, but I wanted to go to the drive-in. It was 65 High Blaine Drive-In, so it was probably around 9-ish or whatever, dusk, whatever that was. And there's triple feature. Most of the drive-ins I was looking at were double features, and I'm like, well, this is a triple feature. Let's go see more movies on my birthday. So
50% more pain.
That's right. So Eat My Dust with Ron Howard, Crazy Mama with Cloris Leachman, and Big Bad Mama with Angie Dickinson. And William Shatner.
Oh God, and Bill Shatner and
Tom Skerritt. Yeah.
Okay. That's gonna be the last one we're gonna talk about. That also might be the one I have the most to say about. Okay.
So I just look. I mean, going back looking at the paper now, I'm like, I could have probably picked some other movies, but I don't know. There's just something about that lineup. I'm like, that'll be a fun birthday to go see and talk about these crazy movies. So all right, so now let's go back and talk about these films here.
Are we getting in the time machine now?
Yeah. Well, no, we already went in the time machine.
No. Okay. You suck, Austin Kennedy. We are currently getting in the time machine. Oh, bam! Now we're back.
Oh
okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Hey, we're back.
We're back. There was a complete edit you guys didn't hear.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we got The Great Scout and CATHOUSE Thursday. Let me pull this up
Lee
here.
Marvin.
Yeah, Lee Marvin. So this is directed by Don Taylor, and I'm not too familiar with him as a director. So let's check out what he's done.
Good question. Yeah.
Apparently,
let's see. Oh, he did The Final Countdown.
Oh wow, Tom Sawyer. He did Escape from Planet of the Apes.
Oh God, you see?
Okay.
Okay.
The Island of Dr. Moreau. He did the remake of that, and then Damien Omen 2. So
wow. Actually, some of those are. I mean, The Final Countdown is its own fun.
I actually never seen that, so I'd have to.
Well, if we ever time travel to 1980,
yeah, let's do it. All right, Don Taylor's starring Lee Marvin, Oliver Reed, Robert Culp, Elizabeth Ashley, Strother Martin, Sylvia Miles, and Kay Lenz. Like all of them have pretty significant parts in the film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, oh man, this movie.
How do we describe this movie?
So Lee Marvin is a frontiersman or whatever, and
they act like he's literally famous.
Yeah.
And he was some type of, I think, Civil War hero.
Yeah, something like that.
No, maybe an Indian Wars hero. Because this takes place in like 1910.
Yeah,
it's like a really late Western.
Right,
right. And stuff.
Yep, there's cars, and it's right around the election for Taft. Right?
Taft, yeah, which actually is cool in there. There's a lot of stuff where they are talking about like who they're going to vote for and blah blah blah, and I'm like, I can tell you who wins. Okay?
So this movie's just bonkers. So I guess Jack Colby is played by Robert Culp, and he was like Lee Marvin's old partner, and they had like a gold mine, and he like stole a bunch of money and like took the money and run and like left him there.
They seem to have found it 15 years earlier.
And
then he disappeared with it.
Yep. And then now he's like this rich guy, and now they're trying to like he wants his money back, Lee Marvin, and I believe Oliver Reed
was part of this crew.
So Oliver Reed plays this guy named Joe Knox.
Heavy red face.
Yes, and they say he's a half-breed, but
Oliver Reed is the most British human being in the world.
Right. Okay? And one of the most drunk next to Lee Marvin.
There was some drunkage.
And then you got Strother Martin in there too, who's like one of Lee Marvin's kind of
is he
Martin's. He's the beard guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Strother Martin he's in a lot of Sam Peckinpah movies.
Yes, there are a lot of people in here. I'm like, okay,
he's a great character actor. Actually,
this is also a late '60s, mid '60s, and I'm like, these people have been doing this same role for 40 years. Okay?
Yeah, and then prostitute by the name of Thursday, who's 17 years old in the movie. They mention it briefly, right? It's like Sophie Miles is like, oh, she's 17.
She's 17, and real creepy shit happens to little Miss 17. I mean, mostly because her and Lee Marvin end up in a relationship. At the end. Like they fall in love. And, Oh, and that was real weird editing when they got together.
Yeah,
because he like storms away, and then like a next scene they're in bed together.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what happened? Did they edit? Did I miss something? Did I fall asleep for 10 seconds? What happened?
Well, anyway, so they all like, so she's involved somehow, and they kind of get into this like crazy like scheme about how to get the money back, and they kidnap Robert Culp's wife or whatever to try to get him.
Yes,
played by Elizabeth Ashley.
Actively reference, we're gonna go kidnapper and raper.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
They say that, and I'm like, you guys are the heroes of this movie. Quit talking about your people you're gonna rape.
I would say it's
what the hell's going on in 1976?
It was mostly Oliver Reed, I think.
Yes, it was. Oliver Reed had problems. His character was really problematic in the red face and being a general. He kidnapped essentially an entire truck full of sex workers.
Yeah. He sure did.
And then he literally is just considering, I'm going to marry all of them, and I'm going to force them to have sex with me. That's the reason her name is Thursday.
Because he's like, you're Sunday, you're Friday, but you're Thursday. Yeah.
And I'm like, and she's the only one who doesn't just eventually leave. And the only reason they leave is because Lee Marvin shows up and says, I found our money. He goes, everybody else get out. We're going to get my money instead.
And then
instead of me kidnapping and raping you repeatedly. What the fuck?
So anyway, so the movie ends with like some kind of they kind of get the money, and they kind of like a heist kind of thing, and then ends up being like a big fight between Lee Marvin and Robert Culp, big fist fight, and that's how it ends.
Guess sure.
So
here's the thing, I liked Robert Culp in this.
Okay, Robert Culp's fine. the movie. So I like bonkers films, and this is what I was hoping to
it
get.
was bonkers.
So it was bonkers. Yes, it
wasn't
was.
like fun bonkers.
Right.
It was enragingly bonkers.
So I would say for the first half of the movie, I wasn't liking it, but I was kind of like smiling at just like
I liked the premise, and I'm like, boy, this movie's like one rewrite from being one of my favorite things possible.
I think the problem with what I had with it was, well, okay, Lee Marvin, he's like, okay, he's kind of Lee Marvin. He's definitely not trying his best. He's just kind of there, Lee Marvin. He's just whatever. I'm sure he's just having whiskey every day, but when Oliver Reed shows up, he is totally overacting.
Oh.
And the way he like his facial expressions, his eyes get all beady, and I mean, some of the performances in this film, it's like if a 70s Hanna-Barbera cartoon came to life, because that's what they were like acting like. They were acting like they were in a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Oliver Reed is all in on this movie.
He's all in
which I find
he made a choice, and he's like, "This is what I'm doing.
This is it. I went method. Method is all get out on this movie.
And
I'm an Indian now."
but he went all in bad. Like he's really bad in the movie.
He like makes
really
like
bad.
the occasional speech about like Native American rights or something.
Yeah.
And stuff. And I'm like, he's I wish that I could like you because of this.
And
but
of course
he's such a horrible human being.
Of course he's talking in broken English the whole time,
Yeah,
it's just like
sort of, but also, I mean, I kind of got the vibe where I'm like, he's doing that. His character is even doing that intentionally.
Oh, right, like he can actually probably speak normally.
There seems like periodically he does just he accidentally screws up and talks completely British because he's actually an English guy.
Right.
That's the only reason.
Well, I was thinking it was Oliver Reed being drunk, going like, "Oh shit, where am I?"
To think. Didn't he reference that he had actually been to Europe or something?
He might have, yeah.
I think. I mean, this was the first of 7 movies.
Yeah, so it's way back
in my head.
So Kay Lenz is Thursday. Now, Kay Lenz was in Clint Eastwood's Breezy in 1973, and I really like that movie.
Wait,
and she's
this
terrific.
Which one is this?
Thursday, Kay Lenz.
Oh, the one who played Thursday.
And I mean, I thought she was fine in the movie. She's
okay.
Yeah.
She's stuck with a weird role. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I mean, okay. The interesting and stuff, the parts that I liked.
Yeah.
They at one point, because they need some additional money to buy guns or something.
Yeah.
They literally force Thursday, or basically make her go to town and use her prostitution skills to make some money. And then she comes back. I mean, you see what happens. Yeah. But she comes back and she's got all the money. She's already got the guns, I think. She has like 18 horses.
Yeah.
And they're all like, what the hell just happened? And I'm like, she literally just went to the villain of the movie and tricked him by being this super cutie.
Oh,
and
right.
He was totally going to bang her. And I'm like, dude, nobody in this movie's any good. Okay?
nobody's good in the movie.
But she just tricks him and then steals everything.
No, I mean, it's a spirited performance. And Strother Martin, actually my favorite, like Strother Martin's the one that kind of comes, he's kind of untarnished in the film because Strother Martin is doing what he does in all the Sam Peckinpah movies because he has kind of that redneck vibe and he talks like this.
Yeah, but he literally hits on the 17-year-old.
Oh no, I'm not talking about his character. I'm talking about his performance.
No, he's actually, you're right, because he's been doing that same thing.
Yeah, no, Strother Martin is fine in the movie. Like I actually kind of like Strother Martin.
I rather suspect that's just the way Strother Martin is. Okay.
What I liked about the movie, the production is great. Actually, it's pretty good.
It's actually pretty good.
And like all the cars, like I like seeing the cars in the movie. Like they did a good job getting the cars. I don't know how they got all those because they got like 4 or 5 cars in the movie.
It's this movie came out in '76.
Yeah, I mean probably
there are 60-year-old cars in this movie, and they look pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, now they're 110 years old, but
right?
Still.
No, I thought that was cool. But yeah, so the first 2/3 of the movie, I'm like, okay, this is just a wacky. I guess I'm here. It's kind of watchable. It's very problematic, but it's kind of funny in a way. And then the last third of the movie, I thought just completely just falls apart. And when they have that big fist fight at the end,
it is the interesting part about the fist fight is Lee Marvin loses the fist fight.
Oh yeah,
100%.
The hero loses
that
fist
fight.
Yeah,
but apparently that was part of the plan. Or I mean, there was at least a backup plan in case he loses, because I'm like
Right.
that drunk guy in his 50s is not gonna win this fight.
Well,
Okay?
and then the last shot of the film is them riding off with all the prostitutes. Strother Martin and Oliver Reed are like, woo!
That's
Lee
right.
Martin is passed out in the back with Kay Lenz, and they go over like a pothole, and where like there's a bunch of water.
Right.
And so Lee Marvin ends up in the water, still pretty much passed out
This
from
is like the last thing you see in the movie.
Yeah, and he's passed out on the ground, and Thursday's
Thursday,
like,
oh, my boyfriend,
and then it's
my
over.
elderly boyfriend is here,
and boom, the end. And I'm like, what?
It's like middle of the fist fight. They're showing it, and then they cut to a car full of the prostitutes that are just coming, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Was this that they you can't call people up. It's 1910. You can't I'm just going to telegraph the girls and have them show up. No, it doesn't work.
It was a mess of a film, for sure.
It was a mess.
And I was hoping it was going to be a fun mess, but it ended up not being a fun mess.
I'm trying. It looked pretty good. It was pretty.
Yeah.
There were spirited performances. That's one of those backhanded compliment terms. Okay?
But the movie kind of needs to seem to be believed to see Oliver Reed's performance, because it's just so fucking
nobody in the world has ever gone so all in.
Oh my god!
This isn't actually any good.
Yeah,
but it's an enjoyably not good.
So if I was rating it, I rated it out of 4 stars, I give it a 1.5 out of 4. Because there are some things I did like about it. I was going to give it a 2 until the ending. So
I honestly think it starts off, and I'm like, the whole premise of they 15 years ago ripped off stuff.
Yeah.
But boy, I'm going to give it like a 1 star.
Okay. Yeah. I can't argue with it.
This is like, I really hope there's not 6 more movies like this. There is not. There is not. There are some that I'm going to give a 0.5 star.
Hey, me too.
All
right. So our next movie is Murder by Death. So we went in the same theater to see Murder by Death. And now this is, we'll click this up here. Murder by Death. It was directed by Robert Moore, which also not familiar with this director. Wow, he didn't really direct a whole lot. He directed 3 movies. So this was his first film.
Cheap Detective, which I have seen the poster. I think.
I've never seen it. It was Peter Falk again.
Yep, that's.
And then Chapter 2, which was actually a pretty popular film with James Caan, another Neil Simon.
Oh, okay.
So Neil Simon. So it looks like he did a lot of theater work.
This one, I guess stuff like The Odd Couple, Neil Simon, that was very much a play first.
Yeah.
This was never a play. There's no way to do this in a play.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like you
could do a version of it.
I think you could adapt it.
But there's weird things. There's things that happen in the story that actually, if you could do it in a play, it would be cool. But it would involve like you'd have to make this part dark, and then all the actors have to run out of the room.
You're right. So Murder by Death is murder mystery comedy satire. That has kind of a big cast of characters, especially for the 70s. Some people might look at it like now, like, new generations will be like, I don't know who James Coco is.
They don't know. Yeah. I guarantee people who are younger than us won't have. Well, first of all, Nick and Nora Charles don't have any fucking idea.
Oh, right.
Okay?
Yeah,
I barely know who they are.
Yeah. So the movie stars a lot of actors. So we got Peter Sellers, Maggie Smith. We got
Alec Guinness.
Sir Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
Elsa Lancaster, David Niven, James Coco, Peter Falk, Truman Capote in his only screen role. He had a cameo in Annie Hall.
This is his most full-blown acting role.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. He's actually playing not Truman Capote.
Yes.
Not really.
No.
It's fully comedic. And as a matter of fact, by probably the best thing in this movie.
Okay.
I loved him in this.
Yeah, no, he was really good.
I loved him.
So the premise of the film is the world's greatest detectives get invited to this kind of spooky house.
Yes.
And
all plays on fictional detectives.
Yeah, pretty much from literary detectives. So you have Elsa Lancaster is being like Miss Marples, kind of the Miss Marples character. Peter Falk is the Sam Spade, which was like Maltese Falcon.
Yep.
Peter Sellers is like the Charlie Chan.
He's Charlie Chan
he's in Yellowface.
He's in full Yellowface. So now we're 2 movies in. We've got Redface and we got Yellowface.
Peter Sellers, but this was very common. He's done this a lot. Like he even did like another movie years later called The Fiendish Plot of Dr.
Well, that's the weird thing though, because
thing.
it's Charlie Chan.
Yeah.
the most canonically way to do it is have a white guy in yellow face.
Yeah.
And then get an actual Asian guy to play his son.
Right.
That's the way all those movies are.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Just get an Asian dude.
David Niven and Maggie Smith picked Nick and Nora, and that's from The Thin Man.
That's from the Thin Man.
Thin Man,
which already at this point hadn't been a movie in 30 years.
No,
so
right.
It's weird. It's really weird how much they said.
James Coco plays now I can never pronounce his name, but it's the French detective from like Murder on the Orient Express.
He's Belgian.
Belgian.
Okay,
Sorry, that's right. They mentioned they did say that too. Belgian.
You're a bad person.
But what is it? He's
Hercule
I can't pronounce it. But I can't pronounce it. Yeah.
Perot.
Yeah. I think it might be Perot. And so anyway, so they all get together and Truman Capote's the host, and he's pretty much saying like, "Hey, at midnight there's gonna be a murder."
Yeah,
and then you gotta.
He invites them all.
Yeah.
And the first gag in the movie, because this movie is gag a second.
Oh yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Gag. First gag is Alec Guinness is playing the butler.
Okay, no, not just he's a blind butler. Obi-Wan Kenobi is playing a blind butler.
Something though, he's very much obviously Alec Guinness can see. I actually think he did pretty good blind guy acting, right?
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah.
He ends up. Okay, spoilers alert. We're gonna spoil every one of these fucking movies.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm not quite clear on his character. There's at one point he plays a version of that person who can see.
Right.
But I don't think it was the same guy.
Right.
Because this movie
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Because it went full Scooby-Doo at the end.
Right. Well, which is supposed to be like it was making fun of like just the twists and stuff. And all those
that was also
the satire and fun. So what were you saying about the first gag?
The first gag was the bad guy, whatever his name is.
Truman Capote?
The Truman Capote character. What's his name?
Lionel Twain.
Lionel Twain, yeah. He gives his butler a bunch of envelopes or stuff, and then he tells him lick these stamps and put them on there.
Yeah.
And there's a long shot of him licking the stamps.
Yep.
And then they go off the bottom of the screen.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, that blind guy is not doing this right. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this gag is. Okay? But this gag is something. And then it pans down and he's missed every one of them. But then the next scene is they all got their invites. Yeah. I'm like, how the hell did they get their invite?
But so that was a great scene, seeing all the stamps on the table next to the things, and I laughed really hard at that. I'm like, okay, I think we're in for a fun time.
There were times where I laughed, but there are also times where I groaned to such a degree of like, just, you don't have to do every sentence doesn't have to have a joke in it. Okay? Every goddamn sentence for like the first 40 minutes has a joke in it. So and then there's sort of some mystery stuff.
Right.
Okay.
So I actually really like this movie a lot.
I liked it the most of the 7 movies.
Okay.
By a real good margin.
Oh my god,
okay?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It started off and with that gag, for some reason, I'm like, it's just too gaggy to me at the time. But
you got to think about it. This was the time of Mel Brooks, and
as the different characters show up,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, I know who that is.
Yeah.
I vaguely know the Nick and Nora thing because I've never seen a Thin Man movie, but I know of them. Okay,
yeah,
mostly because I read an article about them, or something like that. I think. And I was liking that, and I'm like, oh, because I had no clue going into this movie anything other than the fact that it was basically a comedy about a murder mystery.
Yeah.
Okay. And as they're showing up, I'm like, oh my god, they don't use the actual characters' names. They all have like spoofy names.
Yeah. Okay? Well, it's Sam Diamond.
Sam Diamond.
Yeah.
Because that's a different playing card.
Right.
Okay. I guess which I didn't catch that till now, and I'm like, oh, that's a different suit and playing cards. That's the only reason.
And instead of Nick and Nora, it's Dick and Dora. And it's like,
were they Charles? I can't.
It was Charleston. Dick and Nora Charleston.
Like
but
Charlie
then it was
Chan was Wang.
Sydney Wang. Yeah.
Marble was just marbles. Put an S on the marble. Okay, that's
so I thought the set of the house was really cool. There's like secret passages. There's like traps and stuff.
I wanted to see the outside of the house better, but they didn't really show
there's kind of 3 acts to the film. The first act would be the first half hour is pretty much an introduction to all the characters. They're all arriving at the house. And
The
then
actual murder mystery doesn't get going for a real long
yeah,
time.
and then then the second half is the second part, the next half hour is them just in the room trying to figure out why they're there, and then the last act, the murder actually happens,
Yeah,
and then they're trying
the
to figure
whole
it out. So
murder
that's just
and
the
the
last
murder
half
mystery
hour.
part is like a half hour in the
Yeah,
movie.
that's the last half hour.
The middle part is Truman Capote is there, and you hadn't seen him yet.
Yeah.
Because for the opening,
Oh my god, his introduction
it's just
is
his
so
voice.
great.
You don't see him in the beginning, and I'm like, okay, blah blah blah. That I mean, when he comes in,
And they do that light show,
and I'm like, wow.
It's a great intro.
Completely blew me away.
Yeah, he comes in
because he's so Truman Capote.
Yeah,
he's this. I mean, his character is I'm Truman Capote, but also
of this character.
I'm this person who's also Truman Capote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's in there, and well, he kind of it's the way he shows up. Like the lights get dark, and all of a sudden you see those colorful flashes of light, and he just appears,
Oh, yeah.
and you're like, what? And then when he leaves, the doors open, and the chair literally
It just
shoots all the way back.
Well, there was one thing where he was where he acted like something was going to happen, and then nothing happens.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then shoots out on the next attempt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, was that? I mean, obviously there was camera sped up stuff.
Yeah,
or something, but it was really cool.
It was really funny.
And they were all trying to get out of the room then. And I'm like, obviously those doors open, except for those doors.
And then
open.
he's spying on them through pictures on the wall and moose
moose
heads.
Well, yeah, that moose head. I'm like, you can't get your head in there. I don't know. I actually legitimately didn't know how they did that because there was an actual eye there. But
Yeah.
you can't get your head in there.
Yeah,
that's not gonna work.
No,
but it was Truman Capote, and he wasn't even trying to be that coy about it.
No,
he would talk to them from the moose head while he was watching them.
no. So I thought it was really funny. So I'll go through the cast. So I actually really liked. I know it's Yellowface, but Peter Sellers I thought was really funny
because of like I said, it's weird that you do that, but actually it does seem like the more humorous thing to do would it be to have an actual Asian guy who's then made up like he's a white guy in Yellowface. That is what you could do.
Yeah.
That would be possibly. But I mean, you also get if you can get Peter Sellers,
and he's so great, and he's always so committed to his roles and stuff. And so I thought he was really funny. What I thought one of the funniest running gags in the movie was Truman Capote getting pissed at his broken English.
Oh yes, that's you're literally one of the smartest people in the world. Use your pronouns. Yell at him
because he's like, I think
because those Charlie Chan movies are so fucking offensive.
Yeah. I think I go here. I think I go in here. Well, come on. I'm like, that was funny.
Prepositions.
Yeah.
Yells at him.
No, that was
which I'm like, I honestly believe when Truman Capote watches a Charlie Chan movie, he yells at Charlie Chan like that. I'm probably does.
No, so I thought that was really funny. Elsa Lancaster as Miss Marples was good, but her nurse, played by the old lady Elsa Winwood, who was in the Producers, the first Producers movie, she was hilarious.
She was awesome.
She was really funny. She had some funny
I've
one-liners.
never seen or read a Miss Marple thing.
I haven't either.
Actually, have a nurse?
I don't know. I haven't seen it either.
Was her nurse when she was growing up? So her nurse is even older than she is.
I'm not sure
because her nurse in this was I think they got lucky she didn't die halfway through this movie. She was really fucking old.
Right. Well, let's find out how old she is.
But I've seen her in stuff.
Yeah, no, she's great. Oh, 1880.
Holy shit! She was she was
90s. She was 90s, yeah.
Oh, she died at 101 and 84. Fuck. I know I've seen her in some stuff.
So have you seen the Mel Brooks, The Producers?
Yes.
She's one of the old ladies that Zero Mostel is trying to get having sex with to get funding for the play.
Oh my god.
So she's in the beginning of it.
Yes. This because it was the 70s.
Yeah.
And she was an elderly lady,
Yeah.
but she is raunchy as all get out.
Oh, yeah.
In this movie. And I'm
no, she's funny.
It's holy shit, this movie is raunchy as all get out.
And David Niven and Maggie Smith can't be more British.
They are super British, which I'm like, I think they're American in the movie.
I don't know.
But you get those two people. You
can't
not British them. Because they're two of the best British actors who can't do American to save their life.
Well, it's nice because, Maggie Smith definitely got kind of a second career thing after Harry Potter.
Oh, yes.
So it's kind of nice seeing her, youngish because she's still in her 40s here. But, she looks great and she's fun and I really liked her.
She at least looks like her and Niven could be in a relationship.
Yeah.
They look,
for sure.
Their age, they look
Even
close
though
to age appropriate.
even though Niven was probably like 15, 20 years older.
Yeah.
But they look.
But it didn't feel weird.
No, it didn't feel weird at all.
Which I mean, which unlike the last movie where it felt
real
weird.
Really weird. Yeah.
Real weird.
James Coco I thought was good. He kind of reminds me of Dom DeLuise a little bit, but James Coco as Perrier.
Yes. I mean, he's another. I mean, you watch this if you're old people like us.
Yeah.
You're gonna have seen these people in so much.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
I know him from the Muppet Show.
I don't know.
He's a guest on the Muppet Show.
Right.
He's a guest on the Muppet Show.
Because the Muppet Show, they would get people of this caliber mostly.
Yeah, I think David Niven was on there.
Yeah, they would get people who were like, you're not. I mean, maybe they got Burt Reynolds on there once or something like that. Was like the biggest A-lister of the late 70s.
They did not get Burt Reynolds.
Okay. But they did get, they got Mark Hamill.
They got Mark Hamill. They did get Peter Sellers. They did get David Niven.
Yeah.
This is
definitely the Muppet movie caliber. I don't think they ever got Peter Paul. But I doubt they ever asked him.
But Peter Falk, no, I thought he was good too. Like he was kind of doing like a Columbo a little bit, but Sam Spade. But
he has like the more Columbo.
But I love how he speaks in Bogart lines. Like he's speaking in like rhymes.
In more of a Casablanca Bogart than any other Bogart.
Yeah. Like when someone leaves the room, he's like, "Oh, I'll see you around, kid." It's like
he kind of references the Casablanca because he lived in. He said he lived in the northern Africa or something. He said mentioned something like that.
No, I thought he was really fun in it too. And then like the whole plot towards the end when he's talking about like, I was a pansy.
He sort of comes out.
Yeah.
But even then that was all a ruse. Except for I don't think it was. I think there were other ruses in him because he actually acted like he wasn't Sam Spade or
Diamond
that's
right.
And then
the real Sam Spade.
But then he actually was Sam Diamond or whatever. But don't worry, he was super gay in that whole movie. Because his sexy assistant hits on him like every 20 seconds.
Played by Eileen Brennan,
and he just shoots her down repeatedly.
Well, Eileen Brennan plays as a sexy assistant, and she was Miss Peacock in Clue.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So no, I thought she was good too. But yeah, I thought he was really, really funny in the movie. And what I really like too about it is at the end when it's just twist after twist after twist. And they literally at one point actually like criticize all the different faults of all the different
that was great. It was 100%. This is another time where Truman Capote showed up and he just like wants to rip on the way your books go and the way your books go. You leave shit out so nobody can figure it out.
Yeah,
that
was hilarious.
It was great.
I thought that was really funny. It was really smart.
Great.
Yeah, I mean Neil Simon wrote a really good script. Yeah,
we forgot about the cook,
Nancy Walker. Yeah,
who actually ends up being. Here's the big spoiler. I think the main bad guy.
Maybe
sort of. I'm not one that wasn't clear. The end
She's
of this movie
good.
is not clear about actually anything that
Well,
happens.
what's funny about this character? So you got Alec Guinness who's playing the blind butler, and then the maid comes and she can't read, speak, and she's mute.
Yes, and she has different
she can't
sheets
hear
of paper that she brought with her.
Yeah,
and one of them it's a piece of paper that says, "I cannot see, I cannot hear or speak."
Right,
he gives that note to the blind guy.
I know, and so the way they communicate with each other is so funny. It's just
so weird.
It's so great.
But then later on, she gives all the detectives a note.
Yeah,
that was very obviously written right now. Okay,
so,
and I'm like, that chick is lying.
Now I know you said for you Truman Capote was your favorite.
Oh,
so for me, actually, Sir Alec Guinness, like every time he was in,
he was
like
great. He was great.
I did not expect this performance from him because I know him from I've seen him in The Bridge on the River Kwai, Lawrence of Arabia, Dr. Zhivago. Seen him in of course Star Wars, which he did a year later, so this year before Star Wars. I've never seen him so funny. He was so funny. And the way he's just roll, and his eyes are in the back of his head as he's. I
mean, I guess that's one way to be blind is if you literally can't see because you rolled your eyes back so far.
Oh my god!
Because I'm like, okay.
Just picturing, and at first I'm like, is he slumming it? I'm like, no, he's not. He's actually really fun in this movie.
He went after it.
Oh no, he was not sleepwalking through this role. He was like going to be really funny.
He's like, I get to be a comedy,
and
with literally numerous comedy greats.
Well,
okay,
and also too, I need to go back to the 50s and hope maybe we'll go back to one of those and see some of these movies. But he did a bunch of British farces in the 50s called the Lavender Hill Mob, the original Lady Killers. He was in that with Peter Sellers as well.
Wow.
So he did a lot. He was kind of, he started
Well,
off
if
doing,
we travel to the right year,
yeah.
we'll see if we can pick up some of this
but
stuff.
he started doing like these farce comedies, so that's what he was known for. Then he started doing serious work, so that's why I saw. But I've never seen those, so this was my first time kind of seeing him be goofy. And
yeah,
he was so funny in it.
It was pretty good. He was.
But I definitely want to watch The Cheap Detective now. After this movie,
I think Cheap Detective might not be terrible.
So I'm actually gonna rate this. Might be a little more higher, probably higher than you would, but I give it a 3.5 out of 4. I loved this movie. I laughed. I thought it was a smart script. All the performances were fun. The satire was hilarious. I think it was great. Yeah. At least a 3.
Here's the thing. It's at least a 3. I'm actually considering it like a 3.5. I'm sitting here, but I'm also wondering, is that just because we're about to watch 5 movies of garbage that make me want to?
No, before I watched those, no, I already loved this movie. Before we watched those, I was. But
that's the whole thing. Is I'm like, am I just have rose-colored glasses on because everything after this, from here, well, not everything. There's. Okay, but it's by far the best.
Oh, for sure. This is the best film that is.
I'm going to give it a 3. I guess I'll give it a 3.
Give it 3, yeah.
It's not perfect. I can definitely see people who are like blind people that, like, because there's.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely the 70s. You don't get blind people to act like to be a blind person. Okay?
No,
you don't get, like Ryan said. I really can't think of a way. Her character, the cook, is there's nothing real about her. There's no way that you bring in. I mean, she's just deaf, I guess.
yeah.
You can get a deaf person.
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
It's kind of hard to get a deaf and mute person to be a movie star. Okay. But I guess.
No. Murder by Death was really fun, and I can definitely see the cult status. And I actually think this movie's going to get better with repeat viewings.
I think I agree. I think this is.
Because you're going to notice little things that the characters do. Because there's so much going on with the characters. Oh, what was the scene with James Coco when he just shows up and he's got a different suit on? He's like, "Don't ask," and they never explain it. You don't remember that?
I don't seem to remember that.
There's a scene in the movie where, like, because remember they're leaving the room and then they come back and there's no one in the room, and then they go back again and then.
Oh yes, I do remember that.
He shows up. So he leaves, but you don't see what he did, and then he comes back and he's like, "Don't ask."
One of the things in this, and
Alec Guinness is kind of naked too in the movie.
That's right. The first time it happens in it, this thing, where there's a couple of them. They all get split up on numerous occasions later on in the movie.
Yeah.
They go into a different room. I'm just explaining.
Yeah.
This for the audience. They then try to go back into the dining room.
Yeah.
They open the door to the dining room. The dining room hasn't got anybody in there.
Yeah.
It's still the same room.
Yeah.
All the stuff is in the same space.
Right.
Nobody's there. They close the door. They open it up. All the people are back immediately. Now, I don't think that was one shot.
Yeah, I don't think so either. No, I'd have to watch it again.
I mean, it doesn't need to be.
No,
is the thing. But then they eventually figure out that some of the rooms are moving around, and I'm like, it's not how movement works. No, okay, but whatever. But you're right. Then later on, some of them leave, and then he disappears for a while.
Yeah.
But it's like disappears for about 12 seconds.
Yeah.
And then
he comes back and he's like, "Don't ask."
It's actually, the movie is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Okay, hold on.
I think each one of these episodes, I'm going to try to. I think that was a good idea.
Yeah.
Each one of our episodes. Yeah. The one movie that I'd be willing to own a copy of.
Yeah.
And this would be the only one in here.
Yeah.
That I'd be willing to own a copy of.
This is for sure. I forgot to talk about him, James Cromwell. James Cromwell, who was in Babe. He was the in Babe. He's in this movie. He plays James Coco's chauffeur.
Oh God, that's right. That was him.
His accent. He talks like this, and you can't understand him. It's so funny. He's so funny, and because it's on purpose. It's by design.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I forgot that James Cromwell was in this, but yeah,
I forgot.
The dad in Revenge of the Nerds.
I knew who it was.
Yeah.
But only in the back of my head. Until you just said it, I'm like, oh, that's who that was.
This had to have been one of his first films.
I think of him as being a guy who's 30 years older than that.
Yeah.
Even though he became...
Well, he was the dad.
He aged up like in 5 years. He looked like a freaking
He's also the dad in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes, that's right.
But he was billed as J.B. Cromwell back.
But
James Cromwell.
God damn you, movie jerk! You know way too much about stupid nonsense.
All right,
talk about a movie.
All right, Murder by Death. All right, I guess Well, if you want to talk about a movie, we shouldn't be talking about the next movie.
Three and 3.5. Yes. Okay.
3.5. All right. Next one is Tunnel Vision. So we go to the Downtown Academy. See this now. Like I said, have you seen Kentucky Fried Movie?
I have seen it. This is nothing like Kentucky Fried Movie.
Right, but it was kind of like it's supposed to be like skits.
It's supposed. I know. This is what you said beforehand. It's supposed to be like that.
That's what I thought. So
well, mostly it's not like Kentucky Fried Movie because Kentucky Fried Movie is actually enjoyable to watch.
Right? No, I love Kentucky Fried Movie. Now this was also a follow up to none of the same writers or anything, but the Groove Tube, which I've never seen. It's from 1974, but it's kind of very much like this. It was the first movie to be like this.
Is it okay?
The Groove Tube, yeah.
Let's talk about the premise of this movie.
Yeah, the premise is it's a weird premise. So it's directed by Neil Israel, co-directed by Neil Israel, who went on to direct Bachelor Party. With Tom Hanks, which I actually really like that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
So this has you're right. This seems to only have those two people directors, and I'm like, really? I felt like there were 30 directors for this.
Well, because
they're all like
there's literally like so in Kentucky Fried Movie there's probably like 20 sketches in that, and here there's like 50.
Oh God,
because they're each like 30 seconds.
Well, some of them are like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the premise is it's a 1985, I guess. The future.
It skips. Yes, it's the near future of 1985.
Right, and so they have the president of Tunnel Vision. They're under some kind of like law or suit for having inappropriate stuff on their television station.
They started a channel.
Yeah,
and they have completely, through their enormous amounts of insane success, have removed all other television. Essentially. Right, but the other 3 networks, I think they say 3 because Fox didn't exist. Okay, the other 3 networks get like no viewership.
Yeah,
everybody only watches Tunnel Vision.
That's it.
Which it took me till the end of the movie to go like, is that supposed to sound like television? Sort of.
Tunnel Vision.
It's like a television tunnel vision pun. It doesn't really work. Okay. But yes, it is it's a somehow they get away with on this television channel. They can do anything they want.
Right. So it's pretty much bookended by like this courtroom thing where they're like under, but really it's just an excuse from like, okay, just show us what you're programming, and then they just show all these different sketches. That's all it is.
The judge in the opening says they have made a short thing that essentially shows one entire day's programming from Tunnel Vision.
The movie's an hour and 9 minutes.
Yeah, it's not very long.
But it seems like it's 2 hours.
I felt like I am 78 years old now. So like, how can something that took 12 seconds felt like it
I was really kind of looking forward to this. I'm like, okay, let's watch this. Like, and I knew it was going to be offensive, and it is.
But it's
and that doesn't bother me. But it needs to be funny.
That's the thing. It's the version of offensive that's just like, I'm not even going to do the work of being offended. It's so fucking terrible. It's so fucking boring.
Well, and the thing with a lot of these sketches is, okay, if this sketch doesn't work, the next one will. Or if this one doesn't work, the next one will.
Halfway through the movie, I'm like, nope, next one's not going to work. None of them work.
None of them work.
I'm trying to think. The funniest. Okay. So you say what you're doing.
Yeah, so
that will try to come up with our funniest thing.
So I was just probably going to talk about. So I had one mild chuckle in the film.
Okay,
that's it. One mild chuckle, and it was during one of like the 15-second ones. It was when they were talking about Peter Bogdanovich's new film. And he was directing the 70s who did the Last Picture Show. And they're like, his new film starring his latest girlfriend, Tatum O'Neal. And
that's right.
And the thing is, Peter Bogdanovich was notoriously known for dating because he dated Sybil Shepherd, Dorothy Stratton, who ended up dying, the Playboy
so I will
Playmate.
admit I didn't get the joke there.
So I thought, but Tatum O'Neal, he worked with her when she was like 8 years old in Paper Moon.
Oh.
So now in 1980 and back in 1976, she was still like maybe 12. Yeah. So or 13. So when 1985, she would have been like 20 or something.
Yeah.
So it's like his new girlfriend, Tatum O'Neal.
They have like a picture of her.
Yeah.
And it's like not a Photoshop,
no.
obviously, but it's some type of cropping thing that just got.
And I was just
kind of
I kind of chuckled at that because I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny. That was it. That's the only thing.
Here's the things. When they first start, here's one day of programming. The first thing they show you is how back then a day of programming would start and it would have like the national anthem.
Yeah.
And then they go through all the presidents And I'm like, halfway through the presidents, I'm like, wait, 1985. What is the president in 1985?
Yeah, what did they?
And this is 76, so that means there's going to be a president in 76.
Didn't they have like a black woman? Like
there was. God, what was her name? Something Washington. I don't know what it was. And then Eisenhower.
Yeah, another Eisenhower.
I think it was Eisenhower's kid.
Yeah,
was the actual president who became president in 84.
Yeah,
there was somebody in 76 to 80, and I cannot remember what that is.
Yep,
the 70. I can't remember who that was. They were like, I wanted that to be funny, and I'm like, okay, I don't know these names other than I know Ike, and I'm like, okay, Ike, you know something. Ike wasn't bad. Ike's fine. Okay.
When they have the song Tunnel Vision. Well,
the eyeball thing. The eyeball in the woman's mouth.
Yeah, that's
like,
the logo.
The first time I saw that, I'm like, oh, Jesus, that's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
No, I would say the funniest thing, though.
Okay.
Here's the one that I found funny.
Okay.
And it was literally a 2-second joke.
Okay.
In it, they talk about a sitcom starring Sirhan Sirhan. In 1985, Sirhan is now a TV actor with a sitcom, and I'm like, okay, and that was like pretty early again too, and I'm like, this is going to be really weird, and then it really wasn't that weird. It was just boring.
It was really boring. It
does have a lot of people who became huge freaking huge comedy names.
Chevy Chase. So it's funny, John Candy. I'm like.
John Candy's in it. Yeah.
Like, so that was the one where it was the headless cop, like the cop who loses a head, and he's an undercover cop, and he's just
he's just literally head in a box, and you could haul him around and hand a box to a person. Now the cop can listen in on what you're doing.
Oh, Ron Silver as the Mexican, like the Latino guy.
Yeah, it has Al Franken, who is
some
type of I don't know, wants to get laid, I guess. Okay, and then but here's the thing: in this movie, there are two. There's a little ad in the beginning for two. One ad for one presidential candidate and the other one for the other presidential candidate. By the end of this film, so by the end of the same day, they have both dropped out of the race and gone to prison. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Al Franken's in this. And then Al Franken, the whole meta thing of Al Franken had to drop out because of all that stuff. And I'm like, this got real meta. Only if you take 40 years out of it. You know what I mean?
It's just, and like they had that Archie Bunker like kind of parody that we're gonna have all the racial slurs in there, and and then the incest, and it wasn't really funny though. It was
just like it's literally just like, what can we do now that would be kind of offensive? And I'm like,
well, and it's not that funny because they had the other thing they had, like the national, part of my language, the national faggot shoot.
I forgot about that.
It was like, one. What? Like, let's go and shoot them. Like,
they were hunting.
And it's like, but it was only like a 15. It
was 100% just another thing. Let's be offensive.
Right.
But I'm like,
and so
this is just,
for example,
there's a such thing as good offensiveness,
like
humor,
Blazing Saddles.
And
actually, Kentucky Fried Movie, one of my favorite offensive things in that movie, and again, it's not offensive for being offensive; it's showing the ridiculousness of racism. Is in Kentucky Fried Movie, the guy is like, he's a big daredevil guy, and he puts on this helmet, and he's like, I'm gonna go do a daring stunt, and he goes into a black neighborhood, walks right into a bunch of black people and just screams the N-word and runs.
Just runs.
And the guy's it's like, that's funny.
That was funny.
Yeah.
This doesn't understand why that's funny.
No.
This thinks it's funny because he said the N-word.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I'm trying to go through like the stuff like Sketches Police Comic. Nope, that was bad. I'm like looking at my notes. I'm like, ego spray. Oh, yep, spray your ego. Nope, that wasn't funny. Chevy Chase was pretty much wasted in the film. It was like,
everybody was wasted in it.
It was just
there's people in it. John Candy's in it. He doesn't do anything.
He doesn't do anything. Funny. He literally walks on the screen.
Think he even tries to be funny.
No,
it's like
he carries a box.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's
so fucking terrible.
I was more or less just embarrassed by every skit that came out. I'm just like, oh geez.
Now here's the thing. I'm of the age. I didn't know about this movie.
Okay.
If 1981 and I'm a 12 or 13-year-old kid, would I have sat down and enjoyed this? There are tits in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah. I was really. I don't really have much more to say. It was just boring. It was bad. It was
boring and bad.
And it wasn't. Well, it's the thing that it was unfunny and boring, and that's like a double-edged sword.
Really
it's really bad. Like I said,
and it was mostly the Saran. I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, there might be some
Yeah.
gold mines in there.
Well, same thing with the Tatum O'Neal, because that was in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so I'll wait for the next one, and I never got it.
Never happened.
That was
doesn't
it.
happen.
It was
It's
so I.
That's right, but then that's right. The producer or the guy who owns the TV station, he gets killed. He gets murdered at the end.
Yeah.
In a very Ruby-esque.
Oh, it was kind of like Jack Ruby. Yeah.
Kind of, because he was on TV and the guy shows up and shoots him.
No,
like, okay. Actually, well, no. You want to know what was even crazy? It's actually probably one of the more things. It was actually closer to when Reagan got shot.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was like more of a crowd.
Yeah.
And it was like in a public area instead of because Oswald was in chains and there was like 3 cops.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was like a big group, and I'm like, but you know something? They didn't know about that. It was 70. This is 76. That's not 81.
No, I hated this film so much. Like after it was done, I was like, ooh. That was really rough.
This is a half star.
Nope, half star. Yep, this was my half star.
As low as you can go.
Yep, this was my. Well, if it wasn't for that chuckle, it would have been 0 stars. It would have been 0 stars.
We're allowed to go 0.
Oh yeah, we are allowed to go 0.
I'll go half just because I might have to do the 0 for a later movie.
Oh no!
There's some bad movies in there. No, this is probably the worst movie.
I think this is the worst.
It's the shortest one, and it felt like the longest one.
I agree.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that is wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's how you know it's a bad movie. Yeah, never ever watch this movie. Nobody.
Nope.
Need to watch it.
No, you don't need to watch this movie.
Nope. All right, next movie, Vigilante Force. So this is at 7:00 over at the Village 4. I was looking forward to this one a little bit. It's directed by George Armitage. So George Armitage is it's weird. He started off making like Roger Corman films. So he did a movie called Hitman, which was a remake of Get Carter. The Michael Caine movie, and it was
a Corman remake of that,
but it's a blaxploitation version. So it's
okay,
I want to see it actually. It's with Bernie.
That's actually my biggest disappointment for this.
Bernie Casey
for this episode on your birthday.
This one's your biggest.
There's no blaxploitation movies.
Yeah,
1976.
Well, 76 was kind of when it was petering out.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of.
Also, it's Minneapolis. I don't know how much we even got much.
Yeah, I'm sure we did. We could have saw Bingo Long, the Traveling All Stars, with all the black baseball team, but I didn't see it. Should have saw that instead of this. So, anyways, so George Armitage. So he made this movie, and then he didn't make a movie for like 15 years, and then he came back in 1990 with the critically acclaimed film Miami Blues with Alec Baldwin and Jennifer Jason Leigh, which is a great, fun movie. And then he went on after that. He directed Grosse Point Blank with John Cusack.
That's right.
That's a fun Hitman movie.
That's where I heard the goddamn name.
Yeah,
I was like baffled because this movie's bad.
Yeah, no, it's not
badly made is the thing.
Yeah. So it stars John Michael Vincent and Chris Christopherson. John Michael Vincent. So it's like this, in a nutshell, this small town is kind of taken over by the oil workers that are working over there, and kind of what happened like in North Dakota with it like recently. Yeah.
They are rich now because they found oil.
Yeah.
And they literally praise Allah at one point.
Yeah. And
one of their jokes.
So all the oil workers pretty much spend their money going to town, having sex with hookers, and just killing each other in bars.
It starts off with like, I don't know, some type of murder or bank robbery or something. Never referenced again, although they have to hire a bunch of new cops because a bunch of cops got killed.
So then what happens is, so John Michael Vincent lives in this town. He's like, the sheriff is like, I need someone to help me get this town back in shape. So he's like, I'll get my brother. He's a Vietnam vet. He was in 3 tour of duties. Played by Chris Christopherson. And the sheriff's like, wait a minute. He was a troublemaker here. I don't want him back. And he's like, oh, he's not going to be any more trouble than these guys.
Yeah.
So they go get him.
By the way, he's wrong.
So Chris Christopherson gets all of his some of his war buddies to join him, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna go and get this town ready to go. And so for the first half hour of the movie, he is taking care of business a little bit.
The first half hour of the movie is random scene.
Yeah.
Of things, and then he kind of roadhouses on occasion.
Yeah.
And like,
so okay,
fist fights.
He's gonna do it his way. I get it, but then there's a scene.
He's the vigilante force. Is him and a bunch of his military friends.
So then there's this scene in the bank when he goes to ask for a loan, and he's like, "Yes, I would like $10,000," and the guy's like, "No," and he pretty much, this is where the movie kind of turns. And you're like, wait a minute, Chris is Chris Christopherson the villain of this movie? Because then he's like pretty much bullying this bank guy. He's like, no, you're giving me the $10,000 loan. Like
he goes full dark.
Yeah,
the character does.
The character does. His performance still acts the same as he did before.
It's like here's the thing. He was never a good person. The first time you see him, he's like a security guard at like an airport or something.
Yeah, bullying his boss.
His boss yells at him. And his boss was an asshole. He was an asshole to his boss, and I'm like, you guys are made for each other. Okay?
So then, but then it gets really bad where, he starts like killing some of the people, like Chris Christopherson.
He kills that bank guy.
Yeah.
He gets him killed.
Yeah.
He like has a friend of his run him over or something.
And it gets really bad. And then John Michael Vincent doesn't want to believe it. And then he's like, okay, I gotta take out my brother, I guess. And then there's like a big finale where he's gotta take out his brother. And there's like a confrontation between him and his brother. So
I would say 3 really good stunts. In the end,
I think most of the stunts in the movie, I mean, as far as the stunt work, I read that the stunt work in this movie, like the stunt people must have had a blast because they're people going through windows, random people, windows falling off buildings,
roofs, and then falling off the roof onto another roof and rolling down, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, that looks like it hurts.
The stunt work is really well done. The film is not. No. Now the thing is, this premise sounds like something like that could be a good movie.
That could
be. This premise can be good.
Get there slower. You can't literally have the first scene be, all the cops are dead. Let's go hire my brother. Okay. Well, okay, we're 2 minutes in and we already have our entire vigilante forces here. Okay.
So we have another movie with banjo music. I think Murdered by Death was the only movie that didn't have banjo music in it. There's banjo music in all of these movies.
Let's see here. Crazy Mama does not have banjo music.
Oh, right, because it's more of the 50s.
Songs.
50s, yeah. Yep. So
but I'm like, that. Okay, we'll get to that.
You know what I mean? But
that must cost some money to get this.
But Vigilante Force, man, it's like. So the way it starts, like you see the oil workers like in a montage sequence, just running around town. A lot of it in like speed up motion, like like Benny Hill.
It's bonkers.
So I'm trying to figure out the tone of this movie, and then there's a scene in the movie where there's a bar fight. Oh, speaking of which, every bar fight in this movie, someone gets hit once. Everybody starts fighting.
Well, and by every you mean all 80 bar fights. There are so many bar fights. But nobody can go into his bar in this movie without an immediate brawl.
But it's just one person gets hit. Everybody starts fighting. Yeah.
Except for when Vigilante Chris Christopherson shows up, he can stop them.
Yeah.
Even though early on in the movie, he doesn't have a gun or anything. No. And I'm like, fucking team up on him. He's just one asshole with a beard.
So
what the fuck?
But anyways, the beginning of the movie, they have this montage, and you see the bar fight happen, and like, okay, this is kind of fun and silly, and then someone pulls out a gun and shoots one of the guys, and you're like, holy shit, this just escalated. And I expected the tone to change. Nope. The music is
you reacted more to these things.
The music.
And I was just like, oh, another boring thing happened.
No, and then the music's still going. It's still I guess it's still fun that someone got shot.
Fun. Never mind. But don't worry, a lot of people get shot. A bunch of them by Chris Christopherson.
So I like Chris Christopherson as an actor. Like, I actually really like him.
Times when he's good, he's not good.
2 years before this, he did a Martin Scorsese movie, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Fantastic movie, fantastic performance. I think the directors need to know what Chris Christopherson can do, because he has a limited range. But Martin Scorsese knew that, and he did him really well.
They try to make him,
Well, he should have had an arc. But well, his character.
I honestly think he was a bad guy. From the beginning.
Well, I think his character was written with an arc, but I don't think Christopherson pulled it off in the performance. Yeah, and that's what I think.
I think a lot of it is the editing.
Editing is terrible.
All the filmmaking in this
it's not good.
It's just terrible.
No, none of it is good.
I'm like, it's cut from this scene, and then they cut to another scene with the same people in different clothes, and they don't give you any indication how much longer, how much time it's been, if it's later that day. For all I know, it could be 6 years later. Okay,
it doesn't, and it doesn't help that John Michael Vincent is. So I'm really not a fan of him in general. Like, he's not that great.
He's John Michael Vincent. I love him.
Yeah, he's one of the most uncharismatic actors ever. And so having him be the lead is that was also a mistake, because you can't really identify with him. He doesn't emote anything.
He is the top billing in this movie which they have Chris fucking Christopherson.
Yeah.
Okay, was weird.
No, and so I know I
They
didn't.
also have Victoria Principal, who Chris Christopherson just murders, I guess.
Oh right, and then
I'm gonna kill you.
Oh,
And
that
then-
was crazy. He was just like, "I'm gonna kill you now," and then he shoots.
And then he lets her
John
run
Michael.
away, and she's like,
Shoots her in the back,
She's kind
or-
of, I think she kind of like tries to zigzag a little bit.
Yeah.
Sort of, but mostly because she can't run, because she's wearing like heels.
And
or
then you
something.
got Bernadette Peters, who's actually, I mean, she's not terrible in this movie. Actually,
No, her role means nothing.
Actually,
her character is a non-existent character.
Actually, okay,
but she's in there to do the occasional Bernadette
So
Peters. I can't sing. Joke.
She's there for Chris.
Okay.
She's there for Chris Christopherson. She's like kind of sort of a prostitute, I think, and
No, she's just a
singer.
He just hits on her, and it works.
And
Because
he's like,
Chris Christopherson has a sexy
but
beard.
the scene
I
when
don't
she
know.
realizes that Chris Christopherson is bad, and she goes into John Michael
she
Vincent's
sees
car.
him
Yeah.
kill the deputy,
And
or
so
the sheriff.
she
That
goes
would be one reason.
to she goes to John Michael. Oh, that's right. And she goes to John. She goes in John Michael Vincent's car, and the way she's talking like a robot, and
It's
she's
weird.
talking like
I'm
this. She's like, "Oh, I guess that I'm just going to leave town." And I'm like, "What is she doing?" She didn't act like that through the rest of the movie. She was okay, but then that scene was like, "What is she doing?"
I think she was tired or on drugs or something.
Yeah,
or just said, "Do I have to be in this movie anymore?
Yeah.
This movie sucks."
Oh, so I'm looking at the production. So it was a 30-day film, but it would be 60 days today because of the stunts and pyrotechnics. So.
Okay, it came out August 29th. I was wondering.
Actually, it didn't because we saw it in July 18th. Wikipedia's wrong all the time.
18th. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is the only one of these movies that we watched from 1976 that references the bicentennial.
Yeah. Yes.
And they reference it vaguely. They
Yeah.
talk about the 4th. They show one picture of kids with a flag that says, and the what's his face's daughter wears like an Uncle Sam outfit.
Being born on the bicentennial, I am so thankful that I was not born a female because I would have been Liberty. I'm not kidding you. My parents are gonna fucking name me Liberty if I was a girl.
Your name would be Liberty.
I'm so glad that my name is Austin. So that is the dumbest thing I've
Wow.
ever heard. Yeah.
Wow.
They were gonna name me Liberty.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you Liberty from now on.
Libby would have been the short, which is I hate that name almost as much actually.
Oh my god! I was born in '68. I had no problem with that.
Yeah. But
If I
anyways,
was a girl, I would have been named, I don't know, Tammy or something.
yeah. So and the one
would
thing,
have started with T.
so when I
I'd
watched,
say that.
so you didn't see the trailer. I watched the trailer for this, and it just looked like bonkers with the stunts because that's all they highlighted. So the stunts were fun. I didn't
the
think it
movie
was.
has a lot of action.
It is,
It's just
but it's
constant action.
but it's poorly shot and edited action.
And also, I don't care about any of it.
No, I don't care about anything. And well, I think the major problem with this movie too is that with everything happening in the film, there is no urgency or energy in the performance, in the filmmaking, no style. There's nothing in this film that makes it exciting. And I was really this out of all the movies, this was my biggest disappointment because this should have been fun. Look at that fucking poster. Like that looks awesome.
Yeah,
It looks good.
This is not my biggest. We'll get to that later.
Okay, this is my biggest disappointment for sure.
I kind of assumed it would be not this bad. I thought it might be. I knew it would be bad.
I wanted it to be.
I wanted it to be likable.
Well, I thought it was going to be
Not likable
over the top bad that I was, but it wasn't. It was like it was lifeless. Actually,
It is.
It was.
It starts right off, and you don't understand why anything's happening, or
Well,
you don't give.
It's
a shit.
borderline incoherent.
People
for sure.
die,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, but they don't really reference them.
No.
The only
bad.
death that happens in the movie, I guess there's two. There's the Victoria Principal
Yep.
gets killed.
Yep.
But that death is just like, let's make sure we all know he's the bad guy. He killed the sheriff earlier. We know that. Okay, we know he's the bad guy. Not to kill Victoria Principal. One of the only things I care about this movie is I get to look at Victoria Principal. Okay,
Oh.
but okay. There's the scene where he's trying to get the loan.
Yeah.
And I think he set up a thing because he like opens up the window and there's immediately somebody almost gets run over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did he set that up? Because that was real stupid.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Then the
Have you looked at this town?
yeah. And then that bank guy gets run over.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes later in the movie. Now, granted, and by 5 minutes later, I mean 12 scenes later. Okay. Because every scene is like 13 seconds long.
No, right. Yeah.
It's just bizarre.
It is not well paced. It's not
No,
anything.
it's
I'm so I'm gonna be nice and give it a 1, but I give it a 1.
I'm gonna give it a 1 because there's some cool stunts at the
end. Yeah, yep.
There's
Oh,
cool
and
also he gets shot, and then when he falls over, he's standing on top of the barrel of oil, and then the oil explodes for no reason.
A really fake explosion, like that was like a weird,
real fake. And I'm like, why couldn't his brother just shoot that barrel then? If the barrel could explode,
I did think it was funny though that at the end of the movie they were all Chris Christopherson and his gang was dressed up like band leaders, so they.
Oh, that's right. They're on their way to the bicentennial parade.
Yeah.
Which they showed stock footage of a parade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And then they never make it to the parade.
Right.
They go to the oil fields and get shot.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with this one.
Oh my god, this movie's really.
Well, after this, we went to the drive-in.
Went to the drive-in. Yes. I'm certainly glad you found a 3-movie drive-in.
Well, they're all like under 90 minutes, so it wasn't that long. So
it wasn't that long. Like, it just
there could be a double feature that could be longer than this.
The 3 of these movies, the next 3 movies together, almost feel as long as Tunnel Vision.
yeah. The Tunnel Vision felt longer than all 3 of these movies put together.
Terrible.
It was really bad. So, Eat My Dust. It was the first one. So, Eat My Dust, Crazy Mama, Big Bad Mama. The first one is Eat My Dust. Ron Howard starred in it. So the whole, I don't know if you know about how this movie came to be.
You're going to tell us.
I am. So what happened was Ron Howard, right now he's the age of 22, 23 right now. He already wanted to be a director at this point. And I'm not sure at this point if he was directing episodes of Happy Days, but he might have been. But he wanted to direct a feature film. So he went to Roger Corman with a script him and his father wrote and said, hey, I have this movie. And it was kind of a serious drama. And he's like, I would love for you.
Is that the Grand Theft Auto movie?
No.
It's not really a serious drama.
No, it's not. But so he's like, I would like this movie made. And Roger Corman looked at it and he's like, I don't want to do that movie. However, if you do this movie that I'm going to shoot in a couple of months called Eat My Dust, I will let you and your dad develop another car chase movie that you can direct. And that ended up being Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
And that was his first movie. So he did this first so he could make Grand Theft Auto. So he could direct a movie. So
do you know what that original movie was?
No, I don't. It never got made.
It never got made. So
no, it never got made. Let's see. It was called 'Tis the Season. There it is.
Nope.
Yeah, it never got made.
Half the budget from Australia.
Yeah, never happened.
The magic of the internet. Gosh, I'm glad 76 hasn't got the internet.
Eat My Dust. The premise is pretty simple. So he plays Hoover, which is funny. He's got that jacket that says Hooker. But he put V on put a V where the K is. Yep. And he wears the Civil War. He's got
a Civil War cap on.
Yeah.
With a Confederate flag on.
Yeah.
It's a rebel cap.
Yeah. And so he has a bunch of group of friends. His father's the sheriff in town. But he's kind of a troublemaker. But he has like this odd job of like changing paper towels in bathrooms.
Yeah.
So he goes around town but him and his buddies were gonna duck out of his job.
One of his buddies is
Clint Howard.
Clint Howard, his brother.
Yeah. And so what they were gonna do, they're gonna go to let's go watch the races. Like, but my dad's here. I can't go here, So his dad sees him there and he's just like, what are you doing? Are you at work? Did you do this gas station? Did you get
very
that?
cartoony dad.
Yeah. I actually really liked him in the movie. The sheriff.
Here's a big spoiler.
Yeah.
Just because we've got 3 movies left. This is by far the best of the 3 movies.
Yeah.
And this movie's nothing special.
Yeah. So so Eat My Dust. So what happens is he sees this pretty girl played by Darlene. So listen to this. I don't know if you know this actress's name, but the actress is Christopher Norris.
I saw that in the credits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what?
So I looked her up and I found this out.
And now I see it here. Yeah. Christopher Norris as Darlene. And I'm like, they really wanted a boy.
Yeah, so they said it was just one of those things. They just liked the name Christopher, and they said, well, during the pregnancy, whether it was a boy or girl, it was going to be Christopher, not Christine. It was just like, it's going to be Christopher, no matter what.
But you could just call it Chris, and it'd be fine.
Yeah, so, but that's kind of interesting. I've never really seen that before. No. It was just like, that's interesting.
I mean, I've seen women named Kevin.
And she's known, I guess according to Wikipedia, she's mostly known for being a nurse on
Trapper John
MD, the TV show, spinoff of MASH.
MASH spinoff that takes place in modern times.
Yes.
Which is one of the more interesting spinoffs in TV history.
Right. Well, anyways, Hoover sees Darlene and is just like, oh, she's really pretty. So she's pretty much trying to pick her up.
I'm not going to say, I'm not going to lie. She's pretty pretty.
Yeah, she's pretty. So anyway, he goes to try to pick her up, and he's just like, She's like, well, I want to drive in a fast car. He's like, hey, and so I have all more speeding tickets than anyone in this county, and I'm the fastest person. He's like, oh, really? Well, come ride with me in my truck. And she's like, whoa, truck? No. I don't want to ride in a truck. I want to ride that car, and points to a race car.
The car that just won this race.
Yeah.
At the
and he's like, oh, so he steals the car.
Yep.
And picks her up, and then all of his friends, like a clown car, they all get in the car.
I was amazed how many people they fit in that car.
They
would periodically
get more people.
Yeah, like, that car can't fit me.
Right,
and I'm just one person. There's got 8 people in that little sports car.
And so they take off in front of his dad. So now his dad knows that he stole this car. Pretty much the rest of the movie is a bunch of deputies and stuff getting in cop cars, chasing after him.
She is a bad influence.
Oh yeah, she's not a good person.
She's
actually
bad.
No.
But they don't try to make her not. They aren't trying to glorify her.
No,
she's doing this stuff to manipulate him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because she wants the excitement. Also, I'm pretty. I won't get in trouble. Okay?
Right.
I guess. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you might die because there's numerous times you almost die in the movie. Okay.
So that's pretty much like the premise of the film. So I don't know if it was because the last 2 films were fucking awful. I actually kind of enjoyed this movie.
I kind of enjoyed it.
I actually did enjoy it, but yeah.
There's a lot of first person driving stuff. The stuff, and I'm
so the movie opens.
I kind of enjoy this.
Actually, the movie opens and I wonder. So I'd love to find out if Quentin has seen this movie or is a fan of this movie, because there are some shots in this movie that reminded me of Death Proof a lot.
There are actually a lot.
The opening in particular, because the opening of Death Proof is just like the first person of the car going, and that's how this starts off.
It starts off
with the banjo music,
with the band, and it's first person. They're driving around. You could hear the cars zipping off to the side.
So the guy that did the banjo music, I looked him up, David Grisman. He was a mandolin player that actually played with and jammed with the Grateful Dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he also did the music for Big Bad Mama. The thing that I think that makes this movie enjoyable is that where Vigilante Force didn't work, this movie knows what it is.
This movie does know it.
It knows what it is, and it delivers on what it's supposed to do.
When there are things in it that are funny, periodically, they're actually kind of funny.
Oh, I actually think that there is some funny stuff in the movie.
Because essentially his father is hunting him after this, because his father knows he stole this thing. The guy who owns the car is trying to hunt him, sort of. It's weird because the guy who owns the car gets really drunk.
Dave Madden as Big Bubba Jones.
He gets in the car, and they don't see him when they re-steal the car. Okay.
No. And he gets his buddies. He gets his drunk race driving buddies to come and let's go.
That's right. Because the cops can't catch him. He's always outrunning the cops. So they just say, "We'll get more of the race cars."
Right. So he'll
still beat it because he's the best damn driver in the county.
So this was kind of right at the height of when these car chase movies were good old boy movies or whatever coming up. This is a year before Smokey the Bandit.
Yes, this has some of the Smokey and Bandit jokes of
definitely
the Bubba guy doesn't swear. He says hokey non-swears.
Yeah.
Until he actually gets mad, and then he swears for real.
It kind of reminded this is a precursor to the Hal Needham movies of Cannibal Run and Stroker Ace and if you would have told me Hal Needham directed it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
It makes. The weirdest thing is at one point they literally crashed the car off a cliff.
Yeah.
And then he put it in reverse in midair.
Oh yeah,
and then back out.
Yeah,
and they're fine. And
yeah,
I'm like, well, no, you guys can't be caught. You're literally gods. Okay,
right.
He's literally
it literally goes up a cliff, and they just roll the film back, and it just rolls back up. They put it in reverse.
He hits the brakes, and they stop. Mid-air.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Put it in reverse," and he puts it in reverse and backs out into the sky.
So I think it was at that point in the movie where I'm just like, you know what? To criticize this movie is pretty. You can't really criticize it because the movie knows what it is.
There's been enough hokey jokes that have actually succeeded. There's the waiting room at the police department.
Oh my god, that's hilarious!
It's just
okay.
The waiting room is just.
I gotta talk about this.
It's just the cells.
Okay, hold on. So the waiting room at the police department. So all these people are complaining about Ron Howard stealing the car. And so the dad is the sheriff. I think he's really funny in the movie, the guy who plays the sheriff.
I think he is.
So what's his name? His name is Warren J. Kemmerlin. Kemmerling. He's just tired of it. And so all these people are complaining. He's like, okay, one at a time. And then they all come in and he's like, okay, go in the waiting room. And it's literally the drunk tank. And
It's
so,
literally a drunk tank.
and what's great about it is that they keep on piling people into the drunk tank of people that are complaining that of all the people that Ron Howard pisses off by wrecking their restaurant or whatever. There's a scene of there's a kind of a running thing in there when you see people go back there. There is literally like these zombie hands that are like coming out of the window of one of the drunk tanks.
The hand in the window. Did you see that?
Yeah.
What the hell? I'm like, what? That was amazing.
And there's like a monster
just
coming
like
out.
And it does like finger movements and stuff. And I'm like,
it's like a silhouette of a hand. Yeah.
This movie's cool.
I thought that was really funny. And I'm like, okay, this movie has a sense of humor. It knows what it does.
It's definitely a Roger Corman. It has a lot of stuff where it's like,
it was written and directed by Charles B.
Could
Griffith,
be better.
It's not.
There's actually a good movie in here somewhere.
No, I think the car chase stuff is actually pretty good. So
there's some really cool shots of the car.
Oh,
chase.
Absolutely. So there's
a lot of sped up camera stuff.
Oh yeah. So the first half of the movie is like with his friends, and they pick up the Darlene's ex-boyfriend who has a broken leg and takes his shotgun.
That's right.
And starts shooting pheasants outside. And so cops are chasing him, and they have a gun hanging out of the car. And I'm like, whoa, dude, you guys are gonna get
Every
killed.
time he sees a pheasant, he just takes a pot shot at it.
Yeah. Oh, there's one.
Oh, I missed. And I'm like, that's fucking craziness.
It's so I've seen a few Roger Corman comedies from the late 70s, one being Rock and Roll High School with the Ramones. This has a kind of a similar tone to that movie. It feels kind of like silly like that film, and I think it works. I think it's funny. Ron Howard reportedly only worked 10 days on this film.
Really?
And so pretty much every shot.
He doesn't actually have to be in the car.
No, so yeah, it was. I'm sure.
Although actually, I was surprised
Yeah.
when they show them in the car driving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not just a screen behind them. They're in a fucking car driving.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I just assumed it would be hokey 60s, 70s stuff. And I'm like, no, they're in a goddamn car. Now, granted, I bet you it was on a crane or something.
Yeah.
That was camera.
They probably couldn't afford back screen because it's Roger Corman film.
But I'm like,
no.
This is the second best movie.
Yeah, I think so too. And what I also liked about it, so they got that first half, and it's silly and comedic, and then they run out of gas, and then there's kind of like a lull or a break in the movie. I wouldn't say it's boring, but they go to, and then he gets to sleep with Darlene, so he gets to sleep with her.
Did they?
I think they did.
I think so.
I think they did. Well, she goes into the shower naked with them.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I was like, "Yo, good job, Ron Howard."
Yeah,
I was like,
good job.
I was very happy about that.
Okay, the poster for this does not do Ron Howard any favors.
Oh,
look at that fucking face on that poster.
Well, also in the movie, it looks like that he's got like the wrong color base makeup. And he's got like eyeliner on. Like it's really clear the makeup's not a good job on Ron Howard.
He's a movie star. He's got to wear makeup.
So, but the lull is kind of like the setup for the big final chase, which ends up being like 15 minutes long.
And that was when the backup thing happens.
Yeah. But the chase, there's so much stuff going on, and then they finally go down this big hill at the end, and all the cars are flipping over. I'm like, I don't know how people weren't dying.
Okay,
you literally see like the dummies and the arms and stuff like flopping out of the cars.
Yes, over. You could see that. You could when they went down the hills. Are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then the first one like rolls. He beats all the cars with using magic. Okay,
yeah.
This movie is on YouTube.
Yeah,
in full on YouTube. Watch it.
Yeah,
I would recommend sit down and have fun. Watch it with some friends. It'll be fun.
So what surprised me about the movie though was the ending. So normally in these types of movies, like especially Roger Corman films, it would have just ended with them outrunning the cops. The cops don't make it down those hills. They all flip over, and then the car goes, and then she would say something stupid, and then it would be like a freeze frame and be over. But instead, they go back to where he got her at the racetrack. It's at night, and then she starts walking away, and he's like, "Aren't we going to see you again?" She's like, "No, we're done.
No, we're done."
And he's like, "Really? I wasn't important to you. It was just the car."
I think earlier in the movie too, she was very much acting like they were going to be a couple.
Yeah, and he was just like, "It was the car, wasn't it?" And she just walks away.
Yep.
Then the race driver, Big Bubba, comes back, and he's like, "Hey, you earned this car. You get in the car," and then they go, and you're going to be a racer.
So they and they get on the track,
and then
they have ended up back at the actual track, and he's just driving around it, and I'm like, here's the thing: in the end credits, he's going around the thing, and I'm like, it's really not that good.
No,
he's pretty
so the thing is with that ending, like that, this is a bittersweet ending that normally wouldn't be in these types of movies, and I thought that was kind of a neat little touch at the end of the film. I thought that was cool. So
I kind of liked that ending because I didn't like her.
no,
I mean,
I
yeah.
liked her as an actress. Like she did a
No,
good
yeah,
job, but her
she was
character
good in the
no,
role.
yeah,
But her character was like,
yeah,
I kind of hope they don't end it because
no,
she's. I mean, granted, neither of them are very good people.
not
He was
really.
very much willing to steal a car for a cute shit.
Yeah, yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And he had referenced all kinds of other crimes he had pulled off.
Right.
Okay.
So, is this movie perfect? Absolutely not.
No.
Is it a particularly super well made film? Not really, but it's not a poorly made film. I think it's got some good editing as far with the car chases. I think some of the comedy is really funny in the movie. I just think for what the movie was trying to do. So I can't rate a movie on what it's not. I'm like, oh, this movie isn't as good as Jaws. Well, of course not. You know, it's for what it was trying to do. It succeeds, and I give it a 3 out of 4. I like it, and
I'll go with 2.5.
Okay, but I'll give it a 3. I thought it was actually pretty good, and I was really I was kind of, it took me back, and it's funny because I actually like this better than Grand Theft Auto. I didn't like I gave that a 2.5.
I saw Grand Theft Auto so long ago, but
You
I
don't
don't remember
remember
anything about it.
Yeah, I think this is better.
I'm wondering if some of this is rose tinted glasses because
from one of the shitty movies that we just saw, though.
And the next 2 movies we're about to sit through.
Okay,
because this is. But I have very fond memories, better memories of this movie than most of the others.
And also, this is a perfect drive-in movie.
This is
really good drive-in movie. Really good drive-in movie.
It's exactly the kind of thing you would expect to see.
All right, so our next movie is Crazy Mama.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy Mama, and it's another Roger Corman produced movie. It's directed by Jonathan Demme.
Yes.
Who
I wish he. I know
he went on to direct Silence of the Lambs, Philadelphia.
I know he is a good filmmaker.
So
why is the movie so fucking terrible?
So the thing is with Jonathan Demme is like he started working with Roger Corman. That's how a lot of these people got their start. Even Scorsese did with Boxcar Bertha.
Oh, amazing! Yeah,
and
there's so many of them.
And Joe Dante got to start doing Roger Corman films, who ended up directing Gremlins and
so many.
And what Jonathan Demme's first movie was a women in prison movie called Caged Heat.
Is it a Corman thing?
Yeah,
it's one I've heard of. I've heard of Caged Heat.
Yeah.
Is it any good?
I haven't seen it. So this was his second film, and this was so Crazy Mama. Cloris Leachman, Academy Award winning actress.
Yeah.
Cloris Leachman, she won 4 years before this in Last Picture Show. This movie is actually from 1975, but it was just another double bill.
Well, the next one's from something like
74. 74,
yeah.
So
they wanted. Here's the thing: these two movies, are very similar.
Yeah, they go together really well. I mean, it's a good double bill.
I'm not saying essentially a remake of Big Bad Mama.
Kind of. Yeah, I think so too. So Crazy Mama, 1958. Cloris Leachman. Well, the movie kind of opens with her like in the 20s when her dad's like making moonshine or whatever.
He gets like killed or arrested or something.
Yep, and he gets killed.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you. We're 6 movies in. I'm not gonna remember as much about it.
Were you falling asleep over there?
This movie is just like I can't pay attention. I really hate this fucking movie.
Okay, so
this is my biggest disappointment, by the way. Because I like Cloris Leachman.
Okay,
and I'm looking forward to this Cloris Leachman movie. This movie's fucking garbage.
Okay, so with this one, so it's like she owns a beauty shop now. It's like in the 50s, and she's got her mom played by Ann Southern. And then you got the daughter, and she's like in her 20s or whatever, like late teens.
Yes.
And
I wasn't clear about how old people are in this and the next movie.
Right.
Okay.
Especially the next movie for me.
Yes.
So with this one, it was something happens where like Jim Backus comes out of all people.
I saw him in the opening credits. I'm like, oh, Jim Backus in this. This movie's gonna be awesome.
So he shows up and he owes money or something, and then they run away, and there's like a car chase, and then she's like, oh, we're gonna go back to Arkansas. They pick up the daughter's boyfriend, Donnie Most, who I know him from Happy Days. It's Ralphie.
We got the Happy Days Fest.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, I know who that is. And
I was sitting there and I'm like, what's his name? I'm like, I'm so old I fucking know he's Donnie Most. Okay,
great,
that's how fucking old I am.
Right. I was really excited to see him, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That she's pregnant, and then they go to Las Vegas and they pick up this greaser biker guy named Snake, and then Cloris Leachman, Melba, she falls in love with Stuart Whitman, who plays Jim Bob.
Yep.
And then
this also happens next movie.
Yeah. And then so they pick up they kind of start like a crime spree, kind of, sort of.
Okay. They at least seem to have a reason for their crime spree in this
Yes.
movie, right? Because she wants to get the old farm back.
Yeah.
Where her father, where she kind of grew up when she was a youngster. Here's my question: who's the crazy mama? There are literally 3 people or 2 people you could legit say crazy mama. I would say, and then there's the other one who's pregnant. Maybe you go.
I would actually say it's Ann Southen who played Sheila.
I would say
she's fucking crazy.
She is crazy.
she was
the crazy mama,
especially her last scene.
Correct.
When it was, yeah.
Even though I would have assumed Cloris Leachman, but then I'm like, oh, Cloris Leachman's the mother is in this.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing: Ann Southen is the only couple of times in this movie where I was like, I would enjoy what somebody was doing.
Okay. So
right, that was this movie, right? When they went to Vegas, right? And they were trying to. Was that this movie or next?
That's
movie?
This movie.
God, they're mush in my head.
Oh, so Ann Southen, but then there's the other old lady they pick up, the one who was doing the slot machines, the super old lady.
Right, yes,
I really liked her actually.
I liked the whole thing that she won. Then when they first got there, she won because of her belief. She like praying while she was doing it, and then Ann Southen, her version of prayers is just random words she heard in the past. Tyler too, and she pulls it, and I'm like, it's not a prayer. I'm like, those are funny, those are jokes, but they're done. This movie is just sucked the soul out of me as it was going. I'm like, God, I wish. It was just so sad.
I didn't hate this movie as much as you did. I didn't like it.
Nobody in the world hates anything as much as I hated this movie.
Wow, you really hated it.
I really.
So I'll say this about the movie. So.
No, sorry. There's only one movie I hated more.
TUNNELVISION.
No, the next movie.
Oh. Actually.
Okay, I'll let. We'll
talk. So Crazy Mama. So what I thought was really neat about this movie, and I don't know how they did it, because usually in a lot of these movies they'll use incidental music for backgrounds and stuff and scores. They legitimately got like licensed 50s music in this film. They got the Everly Brothers.
Well, they play All I Have to Do Is Dream like 36 times.
Right, that's the opening credits. And I'm like,
but also happens like numerous other times at the end, and I'm like, it's a good song, but I really am sick and tired of that music song now. Okay.
You know what the movie actually reminded me of? It reminded me of, and this is a compliment, it reminded me of a John Waters movie. It reminded me of something John Waters would have made. I mean, obviously his films were a lot more sleazier and stuff than that.
Are they as random where nothing seems to make sense from seeing like
a little
now
bit?
They're going to another place. They're not going to ever reference the previous place ever again.
But I guess I'm more talking about the tone, because he likes the rockabilly stuff. He likes the kind of that 50s kind of
that stuff.
Kind
the
of
music was fine.
Everyone wearing stretch pants, stuff like that.
Here's the thing: Cloris Leachman was like 50 in this. Good.
Yeah, she's 49 in the movie. She looks she's really pretty.
Very, very pretty.
I actually kind of liked her shrill performance in the movie. Like,
she was going. She chose the thing.
Yeah,
she went.
I thought she was good. I thought Ann Southen was good. I thought the old lady was really funny.
Ann Southen was basically what Ann Southen does. I don't think she ever really does different than that.
Right.
She was good. She was enjoyable. I don't have any idea. The daughter was in there. Okay.
Donnie Most was fine.
Donnie Most was fine. Donnie Most. No, it was weird because they like abandoned Don. They like run away and they go to Vegas, and then Donnie Most just shows up and finds him in Vegas. I'm like, what the fuck did he find him in Vegas?
And then it's weird because then the daughter's like going, "Oh, I love you both," and then there's a scene in the movie where they actually both go into the bed and sleep together.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about Snake. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is there's so many things in this movie that makes me want to like it. The scene where Donnie Most for a while is getting more frustrated because she picks up some random greaser. Okay, he's a real just like okay in Vegas, and so he ends there. He joins their group of criminals.
Yeah,
he's getting madder and madder because she likes them both.
Yeah,
and then there is that really cool scene when they're getting in the bed, and he's like, "I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't even believe I'm not even mad about it." yeah. I'm not even mad. I'm gonna get in the same bed and sleep in the same bed as that fucking that greasy piece of shit.
I don't think the film works fully because I think the pacing is off. Really, because
that is the problem. It's the pacing.
Because when it starts, it's like, well, why is everything happening? I don't understand. It's really confusing. It just the pace. Actually, this movie and the next movie, the problem is the pacing is so like it's so fast. I can't tell what the fuck's
That's what I was
what's
saying
going
about this
on.
next. They actually felt like very similar.
Very
because
similar.
They're
Yeah.
very made, very much the same. And I'm like,
Right.
how much of this is Roger
Yeah.
making them the next one explicitly? Like,
Yeah.
we need more TNA.
Oh yeah.
Because there
for
are
sure.
like maybe a couple of tits in this.
Yeah, but this was actually a PG and that one was R. So
Oh, okay. Well, the
also
next one's a
1975
very hard
PG.
R.
Yes,
okay?
it is. It is.
It's pretty much hard R that I'm pretty sure cops might show up and arrest me.
Because
we'll see. Okay.
So, but it was crazy. But the things I did like about it, like I liked the 50s aesthetic. I liked the music. I liked the tone. I liked Cloris Leachman and Southern. At the end, when there's a scene in the movie where they are doing like a ransom thing where they pretend to get Stuart Whitman, and so they're at the zoo
because the guy they pick up
yeah
is kind of on the run himself.
Yeah, because he's like a rich wife.
Yeah. And the way for them to get money is if it's his idea, we can kidnap me.
Yeah.
He goes into like a very public place and then they show up and kidnap him.
Yeah. Okay? Air quotes, kidnapping. So when he but there's the handoff sequence. A moment that actually kind of shocked me was when that old lady they shoot her. The old lady.
Oh,
and I was just like, holy cow. Like I can't believe they did that.
She did.
I thought that was
crazy. Mama, go die.
That was kind of crazy. And then at the end, then there's that other thing where they go into that wedding because it was supposed to be their house and or their old place, and then they're having the wedding. Yeah. And then that's when Ann Southern gets shot. And I was just like, holy shit! And she gets shot. I thought that stuff was neat, but the thing is, the movie for me didn't work in tone, because it was just it felt like that. This was the edited version of a movie. Like it was 79 minutes long. It does. And I feel like that I want to see the full movie with more stuff in it.
Here's what it kind of feels to me. This is an hour-and-a-half trailer.
Yeah.
Because it felt like the editing of like a trailer full of all these little things that happen. And I'm like, but it just keeps doing that for an hour and a half.
It didn't feel complete.
But here's the thing. Yeah. The way we're sitting here talking about it, I honestly think we talked about certain things that seemed kind of nice and stuff. If you watch it, it's just bad. But there's a good movie there's an idea in here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Of a good movie. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. So my rating is gonna be a lot higher than yours. So I'm actually giving it a 2.5. Because
holy but Jesus, that is a full 1.5 stars higher than mine.
Yeah. Because I thought there was some good stuff in the movie. Like I really liked some of the performances. I liked the aesthetic, like I said, but it's just. Wow. But reason I'm not fully recommending it because it doesn't come together as a whole movie for me. So that's why
I'm going to give it 1 star.
1 star, okay.
And mostly because of the horrible disappointment. I really wanted to see this because Cloris Leachman, I'm a fan of Cloris Leachman.
I liked her in it.
I think she's cool, and she isn't terrible in this. It's just she's in a bad movie here. It's just terribly bad made. And I'm like, Jonathan Demme made this?
Yeah,
I think they put his name on it because I think it was directed by some high schooler.
They didn't. Jonathan Demme wasn't Jonathan Demme at this point.
Yes,
so
that. But also, boy, it's just.
Well, and the thing was what Roger Corman was doing. He was taking directors, and he was like, because what he would do with, and the reason like a lot of, if you watch a lot of stuff that from like famous directors that worked for Roger Corman, they don't really feel fully like their movies is because Roger Corman's like, all right, you got 10 days to shoot this and here's $200,000 and have this much violence and have this much sex and go make your movie.
Yep.
And they don't have much time to do anything. So in these movies, you'll always see like little glimpses of what was to become, but it was never fully something.
So at the end of the movie, it ends and they seem to just be back at the exact same similar thing, except for, I mean, Ann Southern's dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
The original Jonathan Demme changed the ending. So originally, everyone was going to die.
Okay.
So
that would have made
it better. You would have liked that better, huh?
It would have made more sense.
Yeah. All right, so that's Crazy Mama. We got one last movie left.
Yeah.
Look at the 1974.
Big Bad Mama with Angie Dickinson.
Yeah, so it was directed by Steve Carver. Now he worked a lot with Roger Corman.
Okay.
Made a lot.
Look at that poster.
A lot of stuff. Yeah.
Boy, that poster makes us look like not good.
Well, and that's the thing about a lot of these 70s, especially Roger Corman films. The posters are always out of the park.
So this movie makes sense that you can see this only at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night. In the middle of a field. Okay.
Right. So
and then you still have to be afraid that cops might just show up and arrest your ass because how old are these girls? and you're going
in
to
the
see
movie.
a lot of naked.
So I actually looked them
up.
They were like 20 and 21 when they made it.
God, they could pass for fucking 14. And one of them has a goddamn doll the entire movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell's going on in this? This is kind of terrifying. Stop showing me her tits.
Angie Dickinson in the film is so, this movie starts off really weird. Like, I couldn't tell what the fuck was happening.
Okay, the previous one, they go on a crime spree.
Yeah.
But they go on a crime spree because their place gets foreclosed on, so they haven't got a job anymore.
And they want to get the farm back.
They just want their farm back.
Yeah.
In this, they're going on a crime spree because crime spree. Okay.
Well, it's weird because it starts with Angie Dickinson and the two daughters played by Susan Sennett and Robbie Lee.
The young one's going to get married.
Yep. Which they don't really explain that very well. Because it was funny because they said, "Hey, someone's getting married," and I'm like, so then when it gets to the church, I'm like, wait a minute, who's fucking getting married?
No, I actually,
like,
I somehow figured it out. I knew.
I didn't figure
because she was. Talking
I figured it out later
because the younger one with the doll was talking about how much she was going to get married, and she loves him. I love him, Mom.
And you haven't even done it yet.
But then they get there. She very possibly best scene in the movie when they're at the wedding. The priest says, "Does anybody stand up?" and blah blah blah. Angie Dickinson, you can see it on her face. And I'm like, it's actually not bad at the acting.
Oh no, Angie Dickinson's a great actress.
You can see it going through her head whether or not she's actually going to do this or not. And then she says, "Me, well, I'm stopping this wedding."
Yeah.
And then the daughter completely wants out of the wedding.
Yeah.
It's like, what happened?
Also,
I mean, granted, it's because I saw the guy. That guy was freaking.
All I gotta say is, what the hell was up with the Uncle Barney character in the very beginning? Because Uncle Barney, I guess Angie Dickinson's with this guy, but then he's like all over like the daughters, and I'm like, what's going on? And then they get in the car and they're all like, woo! And then Dick Miller's in like 5 of these movies. Dick Miller from he's the cop in this movie, but he had a small roles in all the other Roger Corman films. He's in Eat My Dust, he's in Crazy Mama, but you know him, he's Mr. Futterman in Gremlins.
Okay.
But Dick Miller, he's like in every Roger Corman produced film.
Weird.
Like everyone.
They must get paid something because Angie Dickinson showed up.
Yeah. So, but Dick Miller's in all these movies.
Shatner showed up because
Dick Miller, this is the biggest role that Dick Miller has because he's the head cop going after everyone throughout the whole movie.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but all of a sudden, they're driving in the car in the beginning of the movie after they leave the wedding. All of a sudden, they're driving and comes the cop and he's like, "Why are they after him?" And then they shoot the uncle.
No, there is no explanation for why this crime.
Well, then I kind of was like putting it together. So I guess he was a moonshine runner. So maybe that's why they were after him and they shot him. Yes. And then so she starts taking over the moonshine business.
I'm shrugging. Nobody can watch because it's an audio show. I'm shrugging.
She's delivering
20 minutes.
She's delivering these the moonshine to different people, and then they go to this bank, and then it's being robbed by Fred Diller, played by Tom Skerritt, who's a great actor normally.
Oh yeah.
I don't think this movie's his fault. So
I mean, he bangs a lot of underage girls in it.
A couple.
Yeah, at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is happening in this
movie? Tried a third towards the end of the movie. The one that they kidnapped.
Oh god. Was she underage? I wasn't clear about
it. You never know.
She didn't look like she was literally 14 like the other two.
Yeah. They really did the casting.
Yeah, he does.
He's robbing a bank, and then Angie Dickinson's like, "Oh, well, while he's trying to rob the bank, I'm actually going to go really steal the money," and takes the money. And then he goes after her because like, "Oh, that bitch stole my money." So they're going after her. And then they end up falling in love. So then
after he murdered like 8 people. Yeah. Sure.
So Tom Skerritt ends up with Big Bad Mama, Angie Dickinson. But then later on, then he has sex with one daughter. And then the other daughter's like, "Hey, I'm lonely. You come join us." And there's literally a threesome.
Make sure you bring your little doll with you. Jesus fucking Christ.
And I mean, and there's full nudity in the film, and
this movie is 40% full nudity.
Yeah. And then then they go to
I will admit, you get to see Angie Dickinson's tits too.
Yeah.
Which
full frontal,
frontal, and I'm like,
Angie Dickinson.
It takes a long time. Yeah. I'm like, oh, they're not gonna.
No, they do it.
Keep showing us teenage tits. I just want to see Angie.
Then they all go to the horse races, and that's where they meet William Shatner, who's kind of like a compulsive gambler. There's something that Angie Dickinson sees in him, and is just like, you know what? you can be along in our weird like orgy gang too.
This is the parallel to the previous movie where she liked what's his face, like Donnie Most and Snake.
Yeah,
she likes both Bill and Tom.
Right, and it's funny because Bill Shatner, like as soon as he opens his mouth, he's doing like a Southern accent kind of thing.
Yeah,
and it comes and goes.
And I kind of at least get the impression he's faking everything anyway. His character is all about
right.
Character full lies. So I could let it slide.
I didn't hate Shatner in the movie.
No. I was jealous because sometimes he was banging.
His I would say out of all the sex scenes, though, his was easily the most awkward.
Oh, it was really just constant like rubbing her and stuff.
And you get to see Shatner's pubes in the movie. It was just like, well, I did not want to see that.
too late. Now you get to see Kirk Dick.
Yeah. Okay? So it was. But the sex scene was so weird as he's behind her and she's just like looks like she's enjoying it, but looks like that he's like miserable. I did hear that he was really uncomfortable doing the sex scene. Like
I could tell.
He said, he said he wanted a closed set and all that stuff. Of course, so
like. I mean, if you've seen Star Trek, his kissing scenes, I'm like, it was very similar to some of that. I'm like, there are times when he can act, but not for sex scenes.
No, he's not good. Yeah, there it is. Shatner asked for non-essential crew to be removed during his sex scene.
Okay, but then
Angie Dickinson allowed the crew to remain on set during the filming of the sex scene.
Angie Dickinson was at this point in her career is like, well, I got these tits on. Everybody in the fucking world to see them. Okay.
Well, then even 6 years later, she did Dress to Kill again, and she was nude in that movie too.
She had tits still. Okay. She wants everybody to know it.
Then they go on more crime sprees, and then the cops go, and kind of like a little bit of Bonnie and Clyde in there too. They show up and they kill a bunch of people. Not everybody dies, but a lot of people die.
I was getting a little sleepy. Sorry, I'm really excited.
That's okay.
I was getting a little sleepy. And so, yes, they kidnapped that girl at the end. Yeah. I was like, I think there was some stuff in there I missed. I don't know.
Yeah, they kidnapped. They kidnapped this rich girl. Then it all goes into this kind of shootout at the end. But the three end up escaping at the end. The three women do.
Well, no, Angie dies.
Oh, that's right. She does.
She dies.
Yep. She does. I forgot what because it was like literally the last shot because she's got
Roger Corman orange blood on her.
Yeah, she's driving and she's like, yeah, we did it. And then all of a sudden the camera pans down and you see the blood. Yeah.
And then the daughter realizes that she's died, that her mom is dead.
So,
and then just refuses to stop driving.
What this
but
movie...
I'm going to keep driving this car. I don't care when mom's dead.
So what this movie has that Vigilante Force didn't was it definitely has this energy in the film. It has kind of like the spunky energy, and I kind of liked Angie Dickinson and some of the other people. That's where my compliments end, though.
Maybe my problem is I couldn't get past the awkwardness of how old are these girls, and stop it.
So. I like there's some of the action at the end, like that end shootout. I actually thought was actually pretty good. That was probably like one of the best.
I was so tired.
Scenes in the movie. However, my major
movies I think might be a little much.
My major problem with the movie was just how it starts, and I'm like, I could not engage in the film because I didn't know what the fuck was happening. I was like, why are they doing this, and why is the chase happening here? And it was just really sloppy writing, really sloppy editing and filmmaking.
The bank robbery, they just happened to be in the bank.
Yeah,
I guess, or though maybe they themselves were going to rob the bank.
Yeah,
right. Was their original plan to rob the bank, and then he also showed up, but he had actual guns, so he knows how to rob a bank.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I really didn't like it. I ended up I'm at a 1.5 on it.
I have to go with a 0 just because.
Not worse than Tunnel Vision, really?
It's so awkward. Tunnel Vision didn't make me go like I'm a bad person because this movie's happening. Okay.
No, I can't give it a 0 because I like Angie Dickinson. I like Shatner.
I'm trying to think. Weirdly, the scene in the wedding where she's literally trying to get her daughter back.
Yeah.
And they're like pulling on him and stuff. I'm like, that's kind of okay.
Yeah.
So maybe half star. Okay.
No, this is not worse than Tunnel Vision for me. I actually like this even better than Vigilante Force. So, but after that, it's the worst movie.
I mean, it might be the difference is Vigilante Force at the end of it it has at least some cool it
Yeah.
has silly, shitty explosions.
I like some of the, like I said, I like
This
some of the
doesn't have
shootouts.
And
You like the shootouts?
Really?
I did like the
I
shootout
mean,
at
I
the
can't
end.
remember them. I can't quite remember them.
That's what happens when we're like 2:45 at a drive.
Dude, we just watched 12 hours of fucking movies, okay? 12 fucking hours of movies. Well, actually.
But and it's funny because this does have a cult following, and it does even have
There's
a sequel that came out in the 80s. Yeah, yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand either.
It's so weird. Because here's the thing. Crazy Mama at least feels like there might be a good movie in there somewhere. There's no good movie.
Right.
There's nothing there.
So this is 87. So it's Angie Dickinson. Robert Culp is in the sequel. But Angie Dickinson
does have Angie Dickinson.
But she died, but whatever. But it doesn't
Wait,
have.
You're right. Is it a prequel?
I don't know. But it doesn't have the.
It's more accurately described as a reboot.
As a reboot, okay. But it doesn't have the same kids.
Wait, that Polly is one of them? No, that's the
but
same.
It's different actresses. Different actresses.
Okay.
Played them.
Did they get actual teenagers this time? Because that'd be even creepier.
Yeah, this is Big Bang Mama is really disappointed because it does have a cult following.
That's how cults work.
And I actually
brainwash you.
I know I for sure have one friend that likes this movie, so I'm gonna have to call him and yell at him after.
You should, as being a bad person.
I mean, what the fuck did you like this movie for?
What do you like 14-year-old tits?
Yeah, it's so yeah, not very good. So out of the movie, so my favorite movie, best movie, I think hands down is Murder by Death.
Yes. Oh, by a mile.
Yeah.
Although I mean, it's good. Eat My Dust isn't actually that much worse. I mean, it's worse.
No, it's no. I mean,
but
for what it is,
no.
Murder by Death.
Those two.
Oh, Murder by Death
like
is
a fucking rock.
I think Murder by Death is kind of in a different class. I think though.
Yes,
it's a classy movie.
It's the one I'd be willing to watch again.
Yeah,
Eat My Dust. Actually, if
I would watch that again.
If somebody put it on and I was
I
was watching with somebody, but Murder by Death, I'd watch alone.
Yeah,
Eat My Dust, I'm not gonna watch it alone. I'll watch it with some friends.
Yeah, okay? Yeah. No, that makes sense. It was like I said, it was the perfect drive-in movie, and I think it's because maybe we saw it in the drive-in, and after we saw two shitty movies, Eat My Dust was maybe better than I thought.
Yes, I think that might be the thing. Well, first of all, we saw Tunnel Vision. I literally could have been shot. Now would have felt better.
Yeah.
Okay, but then yes,
it was pretty bad.
It's like a bell curve.
Yeah.
Okay, it comes up to Eat My Dust, but Eat My Dust is still not a very high on that bell curve. Okay.
So best, and I don't know if we'll do best actor actress, but it's like, what was your favorite performance that we saw?
It's Murder by Death.
I'm probably gonna. You're gonna do Truman Capote.
Well, of course, I'm doing.
I have to do Alec Guinness.
Oh God, it's Truman Capote.
Alec
Guinness is great, but Truman Capote, I loved him.
I know. I
wanted to hug him. I loved him so much.
It's not it wasn't like a blowout or anything. Because I like Truman Capote too, but I really liked Alec Guinness because I just was not expecting that kind of thing from him, and I was like
giddy
when
Truman Capote was on there. I was so fucking happy to see him. It was so
and his hat
happy.
And just like
I was like, yes, Truman Capote, I love you so much.
Welcome to my house.
Oh yes, he's just being Truman Capote.
Yeah,
he's not acting, and then he literally yells at literature later on. It's like he's just Truman Capote. Okay.
Well, it's really hard to do it like a best actress thing because all of the lead actresses were in bad movies. Like,
but Cloris
Leachman and Angie Dickinson are like the only two that would be.
It might be Thursday.
Oh, okay, Lens.
You know, from the Great Scout, because she had actual couple things that were.
But
Angie Dickinson was kind of
okay. No, I would say that
maybe
I would probably give it to Angie.
I'd probably give it to Angie.
In a terrible movie.
No, Cloris Leachman.
I like Cloris.
Tried something cooler.
She did.
Okay, she tried a real shrill, weird thing. But it didn't really work.
Even though we saw mostly shitty movies, I still had fun. Like, it was fun going to the drive-in. It was fun seeing Eat My Dust and all that stuff.
Yes,
laughing at the shitty
I'm
stuff.
Your friend, Austin Kennedy.
Well, we get to do your birthday next, so
yes,
that'll be good.
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
Some better movies in there.
Right. So when you listen to the next episode, it's going to sound like that he's just a guest because we didn't know that he was going to be the co-host.
Yeah.
At the time. So you're going to be like, hey, this is my guest.
This is my guest.
And I'm like, hey, I hope to be on again soon.
I hope I'd be on.
And now you're going to be on all the time.
Previous episode.
Yeah. So we're going to do 12 of these per season. The plan is we'll see what it actually turns out to be. So
should we inform them of the next date?
No. Well, the next date is 1968.
Oh yes. I'm sorry. So never mind. Okay.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not
Okay.
gonna tease what they are.
Okay.
So
Okay.
no, we're picking random dates, except for the last one. We're
Although
having a
starting from
special
here on
one, so-
out, we are are going to decide.
Yeah, well,
what
after
movies
the
we're
third
watching.
after the third, starting with the third episode.
Starting with so yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yep. So starting
Which
with the
is
third
what
episode, we're
would be
gonna.
the next episode we're doing.
Confusing. It is. Well, thank you for coming with me, and thanks for being my co-host because this is so much fun.
Oh,
going.
I'm so happy.
I am happy too.
I mean, yes, because I know most episodes won't be like this.
Well,
no, here's the thing.
Well,
even the bad ones. I mean, you watch.
It's just fun to watch them, and it's fun to talk about.
Watch a movie with a friend is fine.
The only one that was just, I think, Tunnel Vision was just like that was because even when we were reviewing it, we weren't really talking.
So short.
Yeah,
it was just like
it wasn't much to
the
say about
time
it.
of my life.
Yeah, that was the only one that was just like. The other ones, it was just kind of fun to talk about how bad they were, but Tunnel Vision wasn't even fun to talk about how bad it was. So that's it for Film Geek Time Machine. Join us next week when we're going to go back in time to Tim's birthday.
Yes, August 22nd, 1968.
Yes. All right. So I'm your host, Austin Kennedy, and this was Tim Kaiser. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right. All right. And until next
We have to
time.
come up with like an actual sign-off.
A little sign-off, right? Yeah. We'll come up with one on probably episode 6 or something. So.
Something.
All right. Well, until then, next time, stay geeky, my friends.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.